106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Tuesday, June 24th. It's Double Impact. I'm your host, Gabe El-Taib. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're going to do Judge Dredd tonight. It's a great movie from 2012. They definitely should remake. They definitely should have sequels to this. I think it's an outstanding movie. I've only seen it once before. Watched it this afternoon and loved it. How's everyone doing? Oh boy, I'm busy. And it is funny. I'm a freelancer. You know, I was a comic book artist for the mainstream of comics since forever. And I work for myself. So I'm looking for an image on my computer, but I am paying attention to. I was a freelancer forever, and it's not a great schedule. You're always so busy. And then I work for myself now, and I'm like busier than ever. And it's like I didn't learn. I didn't learn. I make myself busier than I've ever been. So I don't know. It's not great. It's not fun. I need to figure out my schedule better. I don't know why I make myself so busy in my schedule. I always tell myself, well, you work for yourself. You can make the schedule yourself. What are you doing? And I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what I'm doing in that regard. But to have a happy mindset about it, I'm going to put a little. I'll move out of the way. A little Mazatlan in my life. I went to Mazatlan with my wife 2-3 years ago and loved it. So anyways, I'm here. You're there. Trying not to drive myself nuts being busy, but it is whatever. Who's here? Kara's here. Rem Dog's here. Michael Coulter's here. Think about what you think about us here. Mad Moxie's in the chat. Michael Coulter. Gabe, I just had my I'm fantastic. I just had my 40th birthday. Wow, there he is. 40 last week. Had a blast with my sisters, my family, and my cute, adorable little baby nephews. There you go. 40 and your uncle, huh? Maybe it's time for you to have some children of your own. Opening salvo, what did you think of Judge Dredd magazine 2000 AD? Not familiar with it. I know of its existence. I am a comic book artist. I work in comics. I feel like I colored something professionally with Judge Dredd in it once because I remember coloring that badge. It says Dredd on it and has the eagle. But I couldn't tell you what I worked on that had Judge Dredd. It must have been something at DC Comics that also had Judge Dredd. Could have been IDW. Could have been Dark Horse. I don't know. I did something with Judge Dredd once. And I have no idea what it was. I don't remember. But I love Jericho. Jericho Green is in the chat saying, send the link. How unprofessional is that? And my co-host locked out of the building. Shit. Hold on. Reply, paste. Jeez. Send. Okay, there you go, Jericho. Link sent. 1,000 apologies to you, my friend. I can't believe that happened. That's twice in like 3 weeks. It's twice in 3 weeks. I did not have the link sent to Jericho, so he'll be here. See, now Jericho's showing up on time. He wasn't on time for a while. Now he's on time, and I have him locked out with no link to come in. Jeez. Gabe, I know I should have children of my own, and I will. You're never too old to get married. Yeah, as a man, you can have kids forever. I just found out Kelsey Grammer, I think 70-ish, his 8th child. His wife is pregnant with his 8th child. She seemed much younger than him, though. So that's a weird thing. The Pacers lost the NBA championship to one of the worst champions ever. The Oklahoma City Thunder are a despicable team. They remind me of the early 2000s San Antonio Spurs. A great team that won a lot that everyone hated. Nobody likes the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nobody liked the Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili Spurs. Blech. Horrible. NBA sucks anyway. So, Mad Moxie, sorry. It's her job to send you the link.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Chilling. I tried all forms of communication.
I was in the kitchen eating a little bit of brisket, and then I had to brush my teeth. I didn't want to come in the air with meat in my teeth, and I was doing stuff, and so I missed. My phone was in here and my computer, so I didn't see any of your messages. But then I saw you pounding on the glass when I was talking. Yeah,
I had to go to the chat. I didn't want to, but
yeah, that's really not great for you to go to the chat like that.
Well, I'm here now. That's the important thing.
But at least we have a great movie to talk about tonight. We'll get to it, but I just finished it like half an hour ago. Love this movie.
Yeah, and we needed something like this to bring us from the ashes of weird science, so we rise like a phoenix.
Weird science from that. So bad we couldn't even review it.
It's so fucking stupid.
And we reviewed like 5 Steven Seagal movies on here.
Yeah, and we've been down there. We've been in the depths. We've been at the bottom of the movie dumpster before.
Madam Web.
We've been stomping around in that rusty, rotten swill that's at the bottom of a dumpster after it gets emptied by the truck. We've been down there. We've been to the bottom.
That gray green juice that comes out of the garbage bag and drips on your toe when you're on the curb trying to put your cans out.
But
in your boxer shorts, like at 7 a.m, and you could hear the trash truck.
Because you heard it down the street.
Like 5 houses away, and your wife's all, "Did you take out the trash last night?" You're like, "Ah, shit."
Yeah, you're not a grown up, and you're not married until you fucking popped out of bed like a zombie coming back to life when you hear that damn car beep beep, or you hear him picking up the trash cans. You're like, "Oh shit!" But I will tell you this: there's nothing better in that arena than having that happen, and your wife asking you that, and you say, "Yeah." You go back to sleep, or you could stay up and but it's good to be able to say, "I sure did." I don't have to run out there like a maniac this morning.
The trash guys in my neighborhood, I don't like them. They'll leave a note sometimes. This is too heavy. They destroyed my trash can once. They ate it like Cookie Monster. I think it ate it with the trash truck. They broke my blue recycle can and then just told me I need to buy a new one. What? I don't like these guys at all.
These guys are thugs.
You know that San Diego is the only county in all of California that does not charge you to take your trash.
Well, they're getting you some other way.
No, the Democrats here, some people in the city council, they passed it. For the first time in over 100 years, the city of San Diego is going to charge everyone who has a home now like $60 a month for trash. It's been free literally for over 100 years. Not free, but it's included with your property tax and all that. But now that they have to give all this money to illegals and all their pet projects and all their dumb shit, now we're going to be. But a big shot attorney and some conservative people are suing the city to put a stop to it. So hopefully I don't have to pay for trash because I'm already paying for it with my damn property taxes. But San Diego is the only place in California you do not pay for your trash. So.
The next time they leave a note that says too heavy, you leave them a note that says pussy.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? It's too heavy. I'm not putting bricks in the bottom of the trash can. Pick that shit up. Don't they have the robot arm? They still want old school in the back of the truck, like the beginning of Commando. They're still throwing it in the back of the truck. Who the fuck doesn't have the robot arm? What do you mean it's too heavy?
And then the trash can, it picks up your thing, and it's just throwing like paper and shit everywhere. And then your can falls over, and it's like, is this better? Is this
no? Get the guys on the back of the truck, man. Get the guys on the back of the truck again
with the gloves. touching the trash cans. I want
Yeah.
that guy. I want him back.
Hey, wait. I want to be able to take him a 6-pack every December, or maybe some baked goods in November. I want a human being to come and take away my filth and my waste. I want somebody to get poked by something in somebody's trash, and now they got to get back to the office and take a test, take a Hep C test. That's what I want. Damn these robots. And it's only a matter of time until the green light turns red and those robot garbage trucks try to take over the world. I know what's happening.
When I was in Mexico last month on my Mexico City vacation, I stayed in a very bougie, fancy part of Mexico, very wealthy part. And I saw them doing something that I've never seen in a big city in America. They had crews of street cleaner people. Like they have these burgundy like jumpsuits, and they had brooms, they had vacuums, they were all over the place, like keep it clean for the tourists. It was kind of impressive.
Right. Keep that money coming.
It was
right over there.
It was like the reverse of San Francisco. In San Francisco, they have guys that just poop everywhere and throw heroin needles everywhere.
Yeah, they have a team of guys in maroon jumpsuits there that shit and leave needles all over the ground.
Well, it's the maroon jumpsuit, but it has the 2 buttons on the butt, and you can open the butt part.
But they never use the buttons. It's always open, so they can shit easier. Yeah, San Francisco is like Mexico City's doppelganger. It's the complete opposite. But they know what's up. They know what that tourist money. Tourists don't want to pay that money and see that shit. But now, right over the hill, people are being decapitated by cartels. But
who knows
where that money's at? Hey, you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. Like any good city.
I was impressed.
That's what San Francisco did. Remember when Xi Jinping,
the real leader Xi Jinping came?
Yeah. They said, get those homeless pieces of shit out of here. I need fresh coats of paint and pressure wash this damn street.
All right.
And they did it. Sir, yes, sir. And then their financier, the president of China, came through and everything passed the mustard.
I remember before San Francisco had gone full-blown just shit heap that it is now. I visited for the first time in 2009. And it was a little rough. I was in the Tenderloin. I didn't know anything about the city. So I got a hotel in the Tenderloin. And, it wasn't great at night. During the day, it was a little weird, a little buzzing with activity, but it was fine. I remember a guy told us, it was like 6th Street or something. He's like, don't be on that street. Like the street on this side and that side. He's like, go around. And like we walked through the street. He said not to walk through. There was a guy with his pants down taking a shit. There was a guy with the leg up. The drug dealers pull one pant leg up high. That look. And then they're like all these whistle codes are like, hey, there's the police or something. It was all this like hand signs and whistling and a bunch of characters there. So we got out of that street pretty quick. So
see, Gabe, what you did was you messed up. You called the Flintstone travel agency and it was a pterodactyl on the other end and said, what? Book you in the worst part of town. I got it.
No, I said I don't want to be in the worst part of town. Right. The worst part. I got it.
Worst part. Because that's what the Tenderloin is. Like if San Francisco were a human body, you booked yourself in the butthole. It's all bad in the Tenderloin. It's not. Who's that? I think that was Chappelle who said the Tenderloin is not very tender. But San Francisco used to be a beautiful city. If you're from Northern California, it's known as the city. But it was beautiful. But then it turned into like Tom Hanks in the last half an hour of Philadelphia. That's what San Francisco is now.
Full blown.
Seen that movie?
Full blown.
Yeah, blood in the handkerchief. All bad. And it's unfortunate. Very.
Not great. When you got the pterodactyl getting the directions wrong, it reminds me of The Simpsons. There's one time Homer like flies through the air and he lands on like a bridge that can open and close, and the bridge is gonna crush his head. And Lisa's like, "Don't kill my dad!" And then the guy like is about to do it, and Lisa's like, "No!" And then the guy's all, "You said kill him, right?"
No. Yeah, that's who booked that vacation for.
Right.
So,
real quick, graph web for $2, which would actually be what'd you say?
No, I was just doing the
I thought maybe I was roboting out or something. $2, which would be like 40 pesos right now.
Damn, baller.
I think the exchange is like 20 pesos to the dollar. So I'm gonna go down there with a handful of change to Tijuana, get myself some tacos.
The fur coat
Tacos
and
de
shit.
cabeza con chile y cebolla y cilantro. For fuck's sake, hashtag. We're still hashtagging. Cancel Disney Plus. I concur, amigo. I concur.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You know what's very prevalent on TV now? I mean, not I don't think it's on Disney Plus, but like because now everybody has, or what is it? Amazon has ads now. Isn't that the whole point of a streaming service? Is that you don't have regular?
It just
TV
went full circle and became cable TV again, just
like,
more expensive.
But even cable, like HBO and stuff, you're not having no ads on that. But Amazon has ads now. But I find that there's a lot of AIDS medication commercials, and it's gross. You can imagine who's in the commercial because there's 2 groups of people that get AIDS in this country. Some countries it's like 1 in 4 people, so it's a real gamble. But terrible. In America, come on, it's just 2 groups of people who get that shit. You know who it is. As long as you're not one of them, you're good. I've never come close to AIDS ever. It's just not. If you live a normal life, quote unquote normal life.
Growing up, let me take care of some business first. We'll get right back. Hold that thought. Graph Web, every time you send a super chat, and all of you, please send a super chat so you get the Belgian buns. When you send a super chat, you get the Belgian buns, and they look a little something like this.
Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. Shake your
Just feel it flow through you, the Belgian buns. Growing up in the 80s, they had us all terrified of AIDS, HIV. It is, right? Except for the part. So, chat blocked you? No, you're here. We can read your chat. I don't know.
You're always here, Heather.
You're here. See, that's proof you're not blocked.
You're good.
They had us all convinced that AIDS, could be spread by a look, like a sneeze.
Yeah.
If you look up the official CDC, the National Institute for Health statistics, it is very low probability for heterosexual men. It's the lowest for straight men. It's a little higher for women for obvious reasons. And it's much higher for gay men.
Yeah.
But for straight men, it was and do not quote me on this. This is not medical advice, but it was like a straight man getting it from just say a woman that had it and they were both straight, but she had it for whatever. It was 1 in 1,100 or 1 in 900 chance or something like that without protection. Do not quote me on that. That's not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. It is something I read a year ago. But the way they talked to us about it in elementary school and high school and all that, it was you better not get sneezed on.
If you go outside your house, you're getting AIDS. But that's even at the time, yes, it was unknown.
Right.
Magic Johnson, when he came out and admitted that he had HIV, I'm talking, there was just a buzz about this at the time. It wasn't in our rearview mirror like it is now. It wasn't just take a handful of pills every day and you'll totally be fine. We didn't know shit about it. So there were players that were like, I don't want to play with them. What if he gets sweat on me or bleeds on me and all that kind of stuff? And it's really, as long as you stay out of that chocolate starfish, you're good. And as long as you don't put needles in your arm, you're good. You're not even going to come close to it.
Guess whose favorite medical leprechaun was at the center of that? Dr. Fauci.
No, wait.
Oh,
no, not the little,
not
the guy with the little tiny rat hands, those little bony.
The guy who said, and I quote, an attack on me is an attack on science itself.
What? Wait a minute. So he had a hand in 2 of the biggest medical issues in our nation's history.
This is YouTube. We need to tread lightly.
Well, there was a question.
I'll say this to you in the audience. Do some research on St. Fauci. You're going to be surprised about the things, because it doesn't end there. Just do a little research. It's YouTube, so we got to zip it. But
it won't take a lot.
He's an interesting fellow with a very interesting past when it comes to diseases. Very interesting guy.
Don't think that you're going to have to set aside hours to find this information. Just a couple minutes.
So
you'll know everything.
Allegedly in Minecraft. None of it's real.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. It's for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah. But if you're in Minecraft and you slam drugs or you play around on a certain playground, then it's pretty much your only chance of running into the old high five.
Oh boy. Yeah, that was when I looked up the real numbers out of pure curiosity, I was like, that's not what they told us.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And that was the heavy intro for the Double Impact.
It's a very special episode of Double Impact.
That was-
The after school special.
That was heavy. That was like when you take if you ever wash a blanket and then your washing machine, something happens and you have to take that wet blanket out of the washing machine and it
Right.
weighs 400 pounds.
Right.
That's what that intro was.
Yeah.
It just draped over your shoulder.
Well, you came home from school and told me that you heard one of the kids had AIDS and you didn't want to go to that school anymore. And
Mom,
set
I'm
you
not going
straight.
back.
I set you straight with the real numbers. It was a very special episode.
I'm not going back, Ma. I'm not going back. I think I already have it.
Yeah.
I have it.
It is summer. I love summer. That's when my birthday is. It's when the best people have birthdays in the summer.
That's not true.
It is true. Why would you not want your birthday this summer? You know how lame it is to have your birthday during the school year? And
You know how
then
lame it is?
then you're 2 ages in one grade. You can't just say in 8th grade I was 12. You can't say that. You were 12 and 13. Like, it's lame. I don't like it.
How
Always
was that?
bothered me. It just bothered me as a kid. It just made more sense to have your birthday in the summer and not during the school year.
It's not like while you're in the womb. Hey, before we pull you out of here, pick when you want your birthday to be.
You could, if your parents got let's go 9 months back from July. I think is that like November or something, right? Like something like
Yeah,
that.
November or October.
Something like that.
But my 9 months from my birthday is Valentine's Day.
Oh well.
So it makes sense.
It does.
Sure, there are a lot of us born 9 months from Valentine's Day. And
I don't know. And then it's like summer. You're already having fun. You're eating burgers and partying, and there's the 4th of July, and you're at the beach, and you don't have to go to school. And then it's your birthday on top of it all. It was great. It's a
that
great
is
way to
pretty
grow
cool.
up.
That's
It
pretty
was
cool.
very
That
cool
you
to
can
have a summer
definitely
birthday.
have a lot of sleep. You can definitely have a sleepover party.
Yeah.
You don't got to worry about school. It could be any day of the week. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, can you imagine sitting in English class on your birthday? Oh,
I've been there.
terrible.
Been
Terrible.
there.
No,
What can you do?
but it's a weird coincidence. I know a lot of people that I'm very close to that have a very similar birthday to me. My very first girlfriend, her birthday was July. I want to say
Gabe, she's
My
in
wife?
the chat. Yeah,
my
she's
wife
here.
is watching. Yeah,
Hey,
Really?
she's here. Wink, wink.
All right. My very first girlfriend, the blonde, the chesty blonde.
The bitch. That bitch. That's just
It was a bosomy gal, chesty gal, blondie.
You're
her
like,
birthday was-
what? Okay. What?
She was I'm the 24th of July. I think she was the 26th. But then my best friend, I went to Korean barbecue with him last night. Remind me to tell you the secret move at Korean barbecue. His birthday is the 23rd of July. Mine's the 24th. So he's mere hours older than me. My good buddy Dean, he's like the 31st. My cousin is like the 11th. My best friend's brother, best friend of the 23rd, his brother is like the 16th. The cousin of theirs is the 4th. My wife is the 21st. So I got a lot of July birthday cluster. It's a pretty good month for birthdays for me.
Yeah, nice cluster.
So my wife is asking, what day was it?
Oh, here we go.
What day did
Here
this
we go.
chesty blonde have her birthday?
Chesty bimbo.
Yeah.
The bitch.
Uh,
As she's written into a drywall in the garage, the bitch. Yep.
go with your bitch.
Oh, is that who you're going with? Happy birthday to the bitch.
Why don't we get her a cake?
Fucking give here, give her this. Cling, cling, cling.
Oh my goodness.
The ring bounces off the tile. Give her that.
Oh,
You know,
ridiculous.
fuck
Well,
you.
in her defense,
Fuck you.
it was
No, not the. Please don't say in the bimbo's defense game.
No,
I'm
no,
trying to
in-
help you out here.
in
I'm
my
taking the
wife-
bucket. I'm
my
throwing
wife's
the water out of
defense-
the boat.
In my wife's defense, she can be
There
mad
we
and
go.
jealous because I did date this girl about 33 years ago. So it's
Oh,
pretty recent.
You know how the ladies are.
It's pretty recent stuff.
This was all within 24 hours.
33,
This doesn't-
34 years ago, I dated this girl for like 3 months or something.
No. Those are the months of the. That's
My
called, she calls
first
that
two
the
girlfriends
horror
were
season.
white girls with blonde hair. You know that? Yeah.
Wow.
They were
Yeah.
white too, like white. You know?
Okay, I'm taking the bucket. I'm pitching the water out of the boat, and then you keep putting water in the boat. So I'm done. I'm taking the rescue raft. I'm out of here.
Rem Dog was only 4 when he was in kindergarten. They made rules against that here in California. You can't even be 5 and change when you start. You have to be like 5.5 now to start kindergarten. So,
Really?
yeah, at least down here. So yeah,
That's weird.
yeah, lame.
Lem.
Oh,
That's
but
a lot
here's
of
the
muscle.
move. So I went to Korean barbecue last night. I ate so damn much. I put them out of business. They're closed. Closed. You go home now.
Can't come back from this.
And here's how I did it. I didn't eat all day yesterday at all. I didn't eat anything. So I got to the Korean barbecue like at 7 or 7:30 after I'd worked all day and I exercised, lifted weights and all that. And I was like, I was ready to go.
Ready to roll.
Yeah, I ate a lot of barbecued meat. It was nice because I
So-
realized like you go to that place, it's not cheap. It's like $40 per person to go to KB Korean barbecue.
But
You know,
it's worth every single penny.
if you don't eat all day, that's the move. Then you can just and don't fill up on the free rice and the gyoza dumplings and the little chicken nugget things and the corn and the salad. That's a scam. It's all meat. It's a wall of meat.
So the secret is not to bow to everybody and talk loudly. That's not the secret.
Isn't it
'cause I've been doing-
Japanese? These are Koreans. There is a difference, Jericho.
I've been doing it to all of them.
You just bow to every Asian? That's not right.
I've been doing this wrong. I'm glad you said that.
Oh, boy.
Where are you from?
You got to talk really loud when someone doesn't speak English.
Gabe, don't joke about that. That's scientifically proven that if you're
If I
speaking
hear a
to somebody,
language I don't speak louder, then I understand it.
it's not the language barrier, it's the volume. Just talk
Ah.
louder and they go, oh, duh.
Right. I like what someone like a lot of Mexicans here in Southern California, and they, some don't speak English, and they just smile and like
Yes.
nod and like, oh, you don't
Yes.
understand a word I'm saying.
You don't know.
It's like
I
now I'm
just
gonna have to
asked
break
you,
out my half-ass Espanol that I speak.
Like I just asked you a fucked up question and you said yes. So
Yo
you-
tengo un pregunta para ti, para tu, señor.
Señor,
Yeah.
¿dónde está el baño en el biblioteca?
¿Dónde está la biblioteca, señor?
¿Dónde está tu madre?
Uh,
Para mi verga.
are you one of them Latinx fellers?
You Latinx?
But then they would correct you and say it's X. We don't say X,
Actually,
we say X. And it's Senor Latinx.
if they don't have upspeak, then don't believe them because upspeak is a sign of intelligence. I want to put
That is
out.
true.
I want to put that out in the ether. See how I did that? Intelligent. I want to put that out in the ether, in the universe. Like we're all connected. Oh, come here. I'm gonna try a chokehold on you.
So do they have y'all got them Korean barbecues up where you live? Because they're Southern California's
Yeah.
filled with them. They're everywhere down here.
We got a bunch of them up here. We got a big Asian population. I'm about an hour and a half from the Bay
Oh,
Area.
sure. The Bay Area.
So-
Tons of Chinese, tons of Filipinos.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
like number 3 for Asians outside of Asia, and we got them all. Filipino. There's a Koreatown. That's awesome. Japantown. Awesome.
right.
Chinatown.
Of course.
Awesome.
Of course.
Great food. Pretty cheap. Especially if it has a Peking duck hanging in the window. Get in
Right.
there. Because there's some old lady behind there who only knows enough English to take your order, and it's going to be good.
One thing that when I went to San Francisco in 2009, someone warned me, like, you go to the Chinese restaurants, the super authentic ones, they're rude, but it's the culture. It's not, they're not trying to be an asshole. And it's like, yeah, I was like 95% done with my food. They take the plate, take the drink, and like, yeah, you're done. Like they bust my table like when I
You're
wasn't
done.
wasn't totally done. Maybe I was picking at a bone or two, and it was like, very business, like, okay, money, food, like there was no, hey, welcome in, blah blah blah. It was what I was told.
You sit
Is
down,
that your
fuck
experience?
face.
'Cause you spent a lot more time up there. Was that your experience, or did I just coincidence?
Well, if they take my plate too early, I put my hand on my shoulder and I go, huh, that's my plate. Give it back. And then it starts a kung fu fight and end up getting my plate back. But no, I don't think I've ever eaten in a Chinese restaurant in Chinatown, but I did go to one in Japantown. They were pretty cool. And it was like, mom and pop, little small place, few tables. The food was excellent. But no, they weren't rude, but maybe it's the Chinese, because mainland Chinese people are a different breed of people. And that's just the facts. If you talk to Chinese people, they'll tell you that.
Is it like just
they're
because it's so populated, it's like cutthroat, like New Yorkers or Parisians or something?
Yeah, they're very backwards in some of their practices. Some might say primal. A lot of urination and defecation outside.
Oh goodness, I never heard that.
Yeah, I've
Because
seen
I
it.
heard like pushy, But I always chalked up the pushy New Yorker, the pushy Parisian, the pushy like the Chinese mainlander. I always just chalked that up to like it's a zoo. There's too many people, and you got to push to survive.
You're not in a zoo. You're in San Diego. Or you're in Monterey,
Right.
where I was.
Right.
You're not there anymore. So snap out of it, you dick, and stop pissing next to that
'Cause
tree at noon.
I remember meeting the DC Comics people from New York when they'd come to San Diego for the Comic-Con, and they were a different breed, man. They were what we would call rude, but to them, they're just straightforward. It's like, damn.
Like,
Okay.
hey, dude, chill out, man. We're in California now, bro.
Don't harsh my mellow, dude.
Dude, you're like bringing me down. Dude.
Look at this. Old Renaissance boomer. One Saturday, friends and I went to an all-you-can-eat buffet for their weekend breakfast buffet. 6 or 7 trips for a plateful of bacon.
Yeah.
For those of you that are not big Las Vegas aficionados, like I am, you don't know about old Vegas before the early 2000s. Like the last 20 years, Vegas changed. But all of Las Vegas used to be like 99-cent steak and lobster, 99-cent buffet, and they weren't lying. They were trying to get you in the door so you'd gamble, obviously. But that stuff doesn't exist anymore. Now the food is like premium prices and super expensive, and the gambling. So I don't know. Vegas is like
$4,000 buffet.
Right. It's you go to if you go to the Bacchanal at Caesar's Palace, which is I hate buffets, they gross me out, but the Bacchanal is exceptional food. I think it's $80 a person right now. 65 or 75 or 80, something like the last time I went in 2019, it was I think 65 a head. It's outstanding food, but that's just like too much for a buffet. Like
but they're gonna get away with as much pressure as we allow them to apply. And
Vegas, it's funny you say that because I've seen Vegas, like a lot of the casinos and restaurants are putting deals because they overplayed their hand. In the last 2 years, they've just jacked prices on everything.
It's crazy.
Rooms, food. It's like they've gone crazy with the prices. So, prices. There's a lot of summer sales and free parking at the casino.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when I moved to Colorado in 1999, we stayed in Laughlin, which is a city in South Nevada. It's like Vegas, a couple casinos. And we went to one of those 99-cent buffets at like 2 a.m, me and my brother. And there was a granny, an old lady in her 60s or whatever, with a plate, a dinner plate filled with bacon. This lady must have had 2 pounds of bacon.
Hell yeah, get it.
I wanted to tell her, I didn't say anything. She's my elder. I wanted to tell her, lady, you can go back. You don't have to get it all at once.
She don't want it. She's going to sit down, take her shoes off, get her feet rooted into the floor, and get to town on that fucking bacon, man.
Oh my God. Heather says a Chinese restaurant here was catching pigeons on the roof and serving it as chicken.
Yeah.
I have all kinds of problems with that other than the obvious. I have an economic problem with that in that chicken is not expensive. You can get chicken at Costco for like 99 cents a pound.
Can't be free though on the roof.
Yes. If it's free, give me 3. That's the slogan. There was a Chinese, oh my God, this reminds me. There was a Chinese restaurant. This is like 1992 or 93. This is 30 years, something years ago. I think it was the summer of the Dream Team. I was visiting my dad and my grandparents in Colorado for the summer. And there was a Chinese restaurant in Denver. It got in big trouble on the news because they had like a beef vegetable soup they served.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the scrapings from other guests' plates. Like, you don't finish your food, we're tacking that out.
Out of here.
Off, and you got little bits of meat and noodles and veggies. It's like a mix.
It was a mix, truly.
Dude, that...
Truly a mix.
If you ate there, would you ever feel clean again in your mouth?
Oh, it's totally disgusting. Like those people, you should be taken out in a field, and we'll just stop there. That's when you mess with somebody's food like that or do something disgusting. There need to be serious consequences for that. Very
also
serious.
That summer, there was a donut coffee restaurant that opened up, I think, in Loveland, Colorado. It's right by about an hour north of Denver. I believe it was in Loveland. It's like 1992. I was 13, I believe. And it was topless. Topless women serving donuts and coffee.
There you go.
And my 13-year-old brain was like, how do I get to this donut?
How do I get coffee?
How do I get, I already liked coffee, loved donuts already. Couldn't drive. Couldn't ask my grandparents to take me to this place.
Hey,
and I was just like thinking about it for days. And then it came on the news like the next week, the authorities shut it down. So.
Come on, that's a successful business plan.
Turns out you need a license for things like that they didn't have.
There's one that's they wear bikinis and it's owned by a woman and it's cash only. And she has like 9 of them across the city. She just drives around collecting cash because you got these little,
bikini donut shop.
It's a little bikini coffee shop, a little kiosk, like in the parking lot or something. And guess who's lined up around the block? You'll never guess the gender.
A bunch of dads in their 40s.
with hard-ons. Just waiting.
The dad goes to pay. He unlocks his phone and just sees a picture of his wife and kids on the phone screen.
Whoops. Excuse me, sir. Is that the bonel?
Kara says, honest question. Honest question. Is it worth it to go to a casino and gamble? No, of course not. The odds are insane. Look up the odds on a real table, like Bayesian calculations of what the odds are in gambling. They're horrible. You have better luck trying anything else in life. But if you want to gamble and you have the money to throw away, because believe me, you are throwing it away, then budget it. So you're going to Vegas for 3-4 days. You budget $50, $100 a day to waste on cards or whatever. I don't gamble. I go to Vegas all the time. I love Vegas. I don't drink alcohol and I don't gamble. I love good restaurants, and Vegas, like pound for pound, has like more amazing restaurants, I think, than any other city in the country. So, and there's a lot to sightseeing stuff there too.
I always do alcohol and gamble-free trips to Vegas anytime I go because I don't want to do either. I mean, I might have a beer if someone's like, hey, man, I'll buy you a beer, somebody I'm with, but gambling, no, I'll walk right through there. But I get it, all the sounds and colors and, the lights. And then when you do win, that's a nice little dopamine hit, when you win.
I did win a big thing in Vegas once because I have a reward card because I stay there. With the reward card, you get free parking. Eventually you get a free room, you get a free steak, whatever. So I go enough, I might as well have a reward card with MGM. So I had this reward card for years and never used it. And I said, how many points do I have? Like, oh, you have like $200 in free gambling. Well, if it's not my money, I'll gamble. So I stuck it in the machine and I hit max bet. And, max bet's like $20 a spin. So I could only do like 5 or 6 spins. Like on the 5th spin, I won $900. I got the money, left the casino, went to Wells Fargo, deposited it in my bank. Like, you're not kidding me.
I have no problem doing that.
Most people would chase it if they won, right? They're like, oh, I won. I'll gamble 300 of the 900. Like,
I'm keeping it right back. I'll give all 900 right back. And then
I literally got in my car and left the casino after I won.
I would have no problem doing that at all. But you know what? Who I'd love to talk to who probably has some of the best stories in the world are people who have, like, I remember going to Reno, which is a totally different experience. Same as Vegas in the daytime. It's totally different in the daytime. You can see all the bumps and bruises and the cellulite and the stretch marks of Vegas and Reno. Are the guys who run the pawn shops near the casinos. I bet they have seen people at their worst.
Right.
Pawning some of the most precious things to them. I'll be back. I'll buy it back. I'll get it back. Oh, man, they just must have some heartbreaking stories of the shit and the stories that people have come in there with to pawn some of, like, keepsakes, probably their wedding rings, of course. I'm sure wedding rings like number one.
I've been to that famous pawn shop that has the Pawn Star TV show. It's right there in Vegas. It's not far from the main part of the strip. It's just up the road. It's on the strip, but a few miles up. And dude, there's Super Bowl rings in there.
Dude.
Like, I've seen them. There's about 5 Super Bowl rings in there. There's so much shit in that place. It's crazy.
Everything you could imagine that's worth something, they have it in a pawn shop.
Yeah. Gabe, the only place I love in Vegas is Circus Circus. A lot of good memories in that place. Yeah, I hear it's shutting down, Circus Circus. It was probably fun and cool in the old days. When I was flat broke, I told you, my wife and I, we got married. We were very poor. I worked at Toys R Us. She was a waitress. Like, we're very successful now. Thank God. Situation's amazing. But, in the old days, it was check to check. It was a little tight. And it just got better over the years. You just keep working and it gets better. But the first time I took my wife and kids to Vegas, we stayed at Circus Circus because it is the, cheapest place to stay on the strip. And it's not great, but, the kids loved it. We ordered room service because room service was cheap. We got them breakfast for room service. And, the food wasn't great or anything. But there's a steakhouse in Circus Circus that is rated the top steakhouse in Las Vegas. Isn't that weird? It's so weird that that's rated like that, and the Golden Steer are like the top 2 steakhouses in all in Vegas. So I'm a Vegas encyclopedia. I know a ton about the town.
Probably been to them.
Heather says, I love Scottsdale. I don't like Scottsdale. The vibe there, she calls it Snobsdale. The vibe in Scottsdale is like the most try-hardy place in the universe, dude. It's like, are they looking at me? They're looking at me, man. They think I'm fucking cool, man.
I
You
like
know how
I
much
like
this
it because
fucking
I was
belt
able
cost me,
to.
bro?
I like because I was able to walk around and it was nice. It's a nice town. It's clean.
It's
A lot of money there. I like walking
there's
around
just a
Scottsdale.
vibe though. The people, the city, gorgeous, but there's a vibe with the people, man. It's it's like L.A., Hollywood, like phony bullshit, but it's like a copy of that. So it's like a copy of phony bullshit. You know, it feels more fake than L.A. and Hollywood. It feels like a stupid copy of that. I don't know.
Yeah, with the temperature turned all the way up.
Right. Right.
150.
Yeah. Imagine if the people were snobbier and phonier than LA, but it was super hot instead of California.
But I think that's because of its location. There ain't nothing really in Arizona.
I do wonder why people live in Arizona.
But it's not a draw. There's no Hollywood there. There's no New York there. There's no Silicon Valley. There's no agriculture. Like it's Arizona. What does Arizona export other than heat?
Heat.
So
that's what they export. Number one.
So I think
actually.
But it has to be. Scottsdale has to be a copy because it's where it is. It's in the middle of the fucking desert. There's nothing out there.
I was there about 3 years ago. My mom and aunt were temporarily staying there while the house in California was having construction because my aunt has a condo. And I was going to stay and visit 3 days. I left after like 1.5, 2 days. It's like 118 every day. I told my mom, I'm sorry, Mom, this sucks.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Like,
I've been there in November, late November, and it was like 90.
Yeah. I live a stone's throw from the ocean, Mom. It's like 60 something at my house. Like today, it's June. It's the end of June here in San Diego. It was 60 something degrees again today.
No,
it's chilly at night.
93 here. And we're looking at 100.
Dude, we're going to get a blistering 71 tomorrow.
Ooh, careful. Hey, hunker down.
Yeah.
Tell your family to hunker. Now, tomorrow's going to be 94. And then we just start going 95, 99, 100, 101. It's going to heat up, man. It's going to fucking heat up.
No, it actually stays cold here in San Diego until like all through June. You can get pretty cold days actually and pretty chilly nights. We don't have the heat.
Bloom, bro.
We don't have the heat till the end of August, and then we got 3 weeks of it. You know, end of August into September can get pretty gnarly. You can get like 88. You know.
Hey, it'll only be 93 on the 4th of July, so that's cool.
Let's see. Mike has bad knees. I pray for your knees, Mike. I hope they get better. Stargazing. I think stargazing would be good in Arizona. Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Better than being a pater gauger.
Michael, cool. Gabe, back in the 90s, me and my cousins played the arcade games on the lower floor of Circus Circus, and my dad and grandma, and then played the slot machines on the top floor. Yeah, my wife and I would get at Excalibur. So we would upgrade every time we went to Vegas, as I made, and my wife made a little bit more money. Circus Circus. Then we stayed at the next cheapest one, the Excalibur, and that's the Kings and Knights and all themed one. And they have a downstairs carnival area with like midway games, you know, like, you know, throw the ball in the hoop and win a teddy bear and little arcade games. And they had these books with coupons in them that you could get for free from the concierge. And my wife kept getting new books, and the kids could play all kinds of games. One really fun thing we did with our kids at the Excalibur, I think they still do it to this day, is it's the knights on horseback fighting each other while you eat a medieval dinner. What the hell's that called? They call it medieval times if you go to the place, like there's medieval times, but it's called something at the Excalibur. It's the exact same thing. And that was really fun. And depending on what section you're sitting in, that color knight is your knight. Ours was the black knight, and I think he won or whatever. But they serve you a roast chicken and a tomato stew and some vegetables, and you eat it with your hands like, you know, you're in the medieval times or whatever. Kids loved it. It was really fun. That was a fun thing to do. So even when you don't have money, you find fun ways to do things. So
yeah. And when they're kids like that, it's all about the time and the quality of the time, not so much the stuff, thankfully. So
these people complaining 105, 95. I'll show you what we got here. This is what I'm dealing with, everyone. Look it. It's a cool 66 right now.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so might put on a sweater. Hold on, let me get a sweater.
It'll be 66 here at 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, yeah, this is a good reason to go to Arizona. Watch spring training, because the Rockies, the Dodgers, the Padres, and I think a few other teams all play ball there, like in Glendale or whatever. I think it's Glendale or one of the little newer suburbs of the Southwest. And
Isn't that where all the Armenian people are?
I don't know. I don't know enough about Phoenix and all that. I have no idea.
No, Glendale. I'm thinking, yeah, Glendale. That's Southern
California. That's Los
Angeles.
Angeles. Glendale. I'm talking about Glendale, Arizona, near Phoenix.
Oh.
That's another Glendale. I think it's called Glendale. I could have it wrong. I don't know.
Why the fuck do they spell Phoenix that way?
Phoenix.
What the hell?
Well, they're
Who
coming
the
from
fuck came up with that? That's dumb.
they're coming from the Latin, right? So the PH is the F with the Latin spelling or something like that.
But the PH, what is it? EONIX.
It's very strange. Phoenix should. There's a city in Texas, and it's FENIX. That's the only way America spells Phoenix. Is
That's how Americans
FENIX.
spell that shit. That's how Americans spell that shit, man. Phonetically, fucking PH.
Kara says, "How is Detroit 10 degrees warmer than San Diego?" Because the conditions of the topography of the land, the hills, the mountain, and then the weather and the weather patterns. San Diego has unique weather like in the entire world. There's some places in Portugal that have it, and I think like Malta. There's just a few places on Earth that have this weather. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. Even Los Angeles doesn't have the weather we have in San Diego. So we're blessed. We're lucky.
Smell A.
So yeah.
Who wants to go to LA anyway?
Not me. I go up to LA when I have to.
Yeah, you're forced to. If you have to go, if you've exhausted all of the options and you have to go to Los Angeles, then you have to. But if you don't do it.
Oh, here's a map of it. Okay, this is the map I was looking for. Areas with a Mediterranean climate. You guys are gonna love this picture when you see this picture. It just isn't fair. Open image in new tab. When I tell you it's rare, I'm not kidding. This is how rare the weather in San Diego is on Earth. Okay, this is how rare it is. The purple areas have the weather that I have. This is why I will never leave. You can't beat the weather here. Share the screen, damn it. Page. What? Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Something's going on with that. Okay. There. That's how many places have weather like San Diego on Earth.
That's it, bro.
That's just a tiny few places. And strangely, a little bit down in Chile and South Africa and Australia. And you'll notice it's at the 40th parallel north and the 40th parallel south.
No.
So there you go.
No.
But that's it. The rest of you, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to suffer the weather. So there you go. So no, Hawaii. I don't know if you've been to Hawaii, Heather. Save your money. Sucks because it has terrible weather. Oof.
What?
Have you been
Hawaii
to
has
Hawaii?
nice weather.
I used to live there. You know, I was little. I lived there for a
I've
little
been
bit.
there. I've never lived there, but I've been there a couple of times.
Sucks. It's humid. You're in a sauna all day. It's horrible. It's horrible.
It's like
Ugh.
slutty bad.
No, living in San Diego's a nicer place than Hawaii. I'll never back down from that. I don't want to spend money to go to Hawaii when I already live here. I live in a place with better weather. So ooh, look at this. It's 77 here in Texas. Not bad. Not bad.
Nice.
The only thing I know about Phoenix is home of the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, not great. Not great. So
Yes,
anyway.
You don't think NBA powerhouse when you think the Phoenix Suns.
You don't. I lived in Hawaii for several years. Gabe is wrong. I'm not wrong. It was humid. Are you denying it was humid? Are you really trying to say the island in the South Pacific in the tropics is not humid? Of course it's humid. It's terrible. And I go to San Diego before Hawaii for a week. Of course, yeah. Way nicer place. And Hawaii's too small. This 30-mile island. It's like 30 miles to drive around the island. Ugh, no thanks. I don't know. Wasn't impressed. I went back there in 2017 or 16, 17. I don't know. I was back there, so didn't like it. I don't know. I do want to do a lot more traveling, though. I haven't left the country besides Mexico. I've never been to another foreign country. You've been all over, though, right? When you were a Navy man?
You know, I've been here. I've been there. What's that, Johnny? Is that Johnny Cash? I've been everywhere, man.
Well, there's potentially little Jerichos spread throughout the,
Well, I haven't run into him yet, so I'm going to say no. But I have been to.
You're going to get a knock on the door. You're going to be looking back at yourself, but he's only 12 or something.
What the fuck? No, he'd be, 25?
Oh, has it been that long?
Yeah, he'd be a young man. He probably have one of his own. Hold on.
You're looking right into his eyes. Are you my father? He's half Swedish.
You gonna say that again?
He says, "Are you my father?"
Are
He's like
you
half
my
Swedish or something.
buddy? I was in Western
Barcelona.
Europe, Persian
You were-
Gulf,
Okay.
the Caribbean. So I've been to 15 countries.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's awesome.
What
I
was
recommend.
what was the coolest country you ever went to?
Man,
If I gave you money was no object, first class tickets to fly, you stay at the Four Seasons, but it has to be one of the countries you visited when you were in the service. Pick now. Take your whole family. First class, Four Seasons. Money's no object.
Actually, I want to go to Five Seasons. Definitely, I'd say St. Martin. Barcelona
Okay.
would be a close second, but St. Martin, the
Where's St. Martin?
islands.
I know it's an island somewhere.
It's near Jamaica. But man, I believe
What was so nice about it?
it's beautiful, gorgeous. People were cool, walking around all the different shops and stuff like
Who
that.
lives in St. Martin? What kind of people? Well, who are the St. Martin?
Everybody has a Jamaican accent. We got in a cab with a Chinese dude. I'm talking like full blown Chinese, and he sounded like fucking Bob Marley. It was the craziest shit in the world. Yeah,
Wow.
Chinese people get around. So, yeah, man, I would say St. Martin. That was fucking cool. Very cool.
Okay. St. Martin is down in the Caribbean, huh?
Yeah, St. Martin.
Okay. And then Barcelona is a quick second, huh?
Yeah, Barcelona was super cool. You know, and all the history of it. You know, it's been around for thousands of years. And the buildings and all that shit. It was awesome.
Michael Coulter says I would go. He would go to
drinking sangria. So
sangria. Were you drinking like out of a coconut or a pineapple or something?
No, I was a pitcher. I had class. Class as a young man.
Michael Coulter would go to Italy because he heard Italian women love black men. I cannot.
I mean, I heard that.
Deny the veracity of that statement.
My uncle was in the Navy. He said Australia. He said they love black dudes in Australia. But I went the opposite direction. I went to Europe. But yeah, I heard that about a few places. But I mean, hey, if you got what it takes, I like you anyway.
Heather would go to Wales. Remdog says, did you get hazed for crossing the equator? Yeah, that's the thing. When the Navy guys, when you finally cross the equator for the first time, you got to do some pretty kooky stuff, is what I've heard. My buddy, Filipino guys here in town, a lot of their dads were Navy guys, submarine guys, ship guys. And I heard some stuff they had to do when they, my father-in-law, he was a Navy guy. When he crossed it, he told me about like eating a goldfish live and having to crawl through this and that and do all this stuff. And they really hazed the hell. Did they get you?
No, that's old Navy stuff. That's the old rough and tumble Navy that people from my generation thought we were getting into. The stories we hear from our dads and uncles and stuff like that, who were like the Vietnam era, maybe going grandpa or something like that, where it was like you said, there was a big to-do and there was hazing, but you were joining a fraternity. You know, you were crossing the equator. That's a very rare thing. To be in the military, number one, is rare. But then to cross the equator like that,
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So you were looking forward to that hazing. You didn't really care how bad or disgusting that it was. And there was some really bad shit as far as the stories we were told. But we had a celebration when we crossed the equator, but there was no hazing because, like I said, it was the newer.
They had like a happy-go-lucky little party instead.
Yeah, it was like a barbecue and stuff, and they made a big deal about it, but there wasn't like hazing. I was kind of disappointed.
Now, explain to everybody what underway means when you're in the Navy.
Underway just means you're in the water. You're underway. You're out there.
Right.
So yeah, when we say we're getting underway, that means we're leaving.
I've heard from my other service members that are not in the Navy, Army guys, Air Force guys. They say that one of the Navy slogans is "It's not gay if it's underway."
Yeah, so. Heard that. Heard that. Wah, wah. That's like if somebody's really tall, somebody come up to them and say, "Did you play basketball?" Okay.
Let's see. Heather wants you to sing in the Navy.
Yeah. People in hell want ice water.
Brian Epps' greetings programs. Think about what you think about. Got to visit Tokyo when his dad was in the Army. That's why I want to go to Japan. I'm fascinated by their culture. So
Tokyo would be fucking crazy.
I bet it would be. Yeah. But it's the most populated place on Earth, right? The most densely populated, right?
I guess. I don't know. But it looks fucking insane.
I saw a picture of Tokyo once. I think this is it here. Look at this. This isn't even all of it. Open image in new window. No, not link, damn it. Open image. Open image in new tab. There we go. This is just a little bit of Tokyo here. Can you imagine dealing with this infrastructure? Just the amount of plumbing and electricity, and everybody here. I mean, there's skyscrapers that look like just little matchsticks.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Man.
That's just a portion of it. I think it's crazy.
That's like if you ever see something, you know, like a kid's toy that has a lot of lights or something on it. If you ever close your eyes and put it like right on your eye, and all those lights are going like that, I feel like that's what Tokyo would be like. Just an overload of fucking electricity and lights and things and sounds. It just looks insane in a good way. I mean, just to fucking go there and be like, holy shit, man, they got everything here. A lot of it I don't want, but
I heard that it's safe and clean society because it's very homogenous. You know, there's a like, even though that's a stranger, like you kind of know them anyway. Everyone knows everyone. They're the same, very similar culture, very similar race to like the people. There's something to be said for that, you know, like to know what you're going to get from a stranger even. Think about what you think about. In Japan, they would line up, take photos of me and my brothers because we had long blonde hair. Wow. So Okara, shots fired. For submariners in the Navy, it's said that 100 men go down and 50 couples come out.
That's funny.
She got you with that one.
Oh, I've heard that one too.
That and the hatches.
That shit was crazy. Being underway, like for storms and stuff like that.
Right.
That's I let you know your place in the universe. I let you know that you're a tiny little speck of nothing.
Goodness.
Because the ocean's raging like so hard.
All right. Well, let's get into it here. Let's get into what's your history with Judge Dredd? Is this the first time you've seen it, or is it a classic that you love, or what?
No, I've seen Dredd. I love it. But my introduction into the Dredd universe, the Dreadverse, would be, of course, and that was in '93. Sylvester Stallone, Rob Schneider.
I am the law. I'm the law.
I am the law. Him and Armand Desante. But I watched it with my daughter. This one, Dredd, I watched it with my daughter.
Ooh, that's a little intense.
It was intense, but when your 13-year-old wants to hang out with you, take what you can get. But right after I said, now watch this, and I showed her the trailer for the Sylvester Stallone one, and she's like, this is a totally different movie. This is like a comedy. I was like, yeah, this one, Dredd, is much closer to the graphic novel. This is how it's supposed to be. I said, but for years, the Sylvester Stallone one with Rob Schneider. That stupid part with the whole Pepsi Taco Bell machine behind it. It's totally different. She was like, oh, that one looks different. I was like, not as good.
So for those of you that don't know, Judge Dredd is a comic book from the British comic imprint 2000 AD. And expertly illustrated by the likes of Brian Bolland and other amazing comic book artists. Here's just a little bit of Judge Dredd. In the future, there are judges. They are like police and tactical military guys, and a judge and a jury and an executioner all rolled up into one. The world is so radioactive and destroyed like a Mad Max dystopia that everyone's crowded into these mega cities. There's Mega City 1, where Judge Dredd, the most lethal, legendary judge of all time, is there. I know I worked on something for Judge Dredd as a comic artist, but I don't remember what I did. It was for either IDW Publishing or Dark Horse or something. I know I colored a Judge Dredd piece, and I don't remember. But anyway, it's so chaotic and violent and crazy that Judge Dredd, he just goes out. This guy did this crime. I sentenced you to death. And then he just shoots him there. And there you go.
Yeah, that's it. Very cut and dry. And my daughter asked me, she says, why do they call them judges? I said, for what you just said. I was like, they're everything. They're judge, jury, and executioner. There's no legal system. It's
right.
If you do something, they sentence you right there, whether it be prison or bye-bye.
Right. So, yeah, it's a really fascinating concept. Very, very much of its time. I think it comes, I know it's from the 80s. It might be from the late 70s. I think it's from the 80s, though, Judge Dredd. I don't think it goes.
Cool.
Yeah, but Judge Dredd is something wild, you know. I don't know. Brian Bolland is an amazing illustrator. You know, he's a veteran comic artist, probably in the 60s or early 70s by now. Master of brushwork. I mean, look at those brush lines just to define the forms there. Brian Bolland is outstanding. He's known for Batman, The Killing Joke, one of the seminal Batman graphic novels. And Brian Ball is a legend in our business. He's one of the absolute greatest illustrators of all time. I'm a huge fan of his work. So, but he's a British guy. And when he was a younger gentleman, I mean, look at that face on that. Look at the hair. He's so good.
Yeah.
It's so damn good. And this isn't new work. This wasn't done like this is from the 80s, this stuff, or the 90s. This isn't like, this is old stuff. And you can tell because the lettering there, they hand draw those letters and they cut them out and they glue them on the pages. That's how they used to do it. The comic book pages used to be all marked up like that and glued together and all that kind of stuff. Nowadays, we're doing all the lettering in Adobe Illustrator and it's all digital. I can show you guys that actually. Just show you. I'll show you. Might as well just show you. Then we'll get into the movie. But here's a page from one of my comic books. And I'll show you how the lettering is done now. Here's a page from Empyrean, Earth Illuminated, which is going to be crowdfunding in July. And if you see here, let me unlock these layers. The lettering and all that, it's on a different layer and the word balloons. You see? So I can grab this stuff and move it around. I can change the size of it if I want to. So that's a lot easier than like, hey man, you letter this thing wrong. You're going to get a lot of white paint to fix your mistake. You know what I mean? And razor blade to try and scrape something off. And it was very little margin for error in the old days. But in the digital age, we can get away with a lot more. So there you go.
Well, speaking of Empyrean, we are 12 or 15 pages in.
Does he like it so far?
Oh yeah, we just came back to present day from the 11 years earlier.
Oh, okay. The flashback at the beginning.
Yeah. So things are different. Things are different in present day. But yeah, he loves it. He's Dad, we got to read it. And
one of my best friends in comic books, the great Mike Barron. He's an multiple Eisner winner. The Eisners are the Oscars of comics. I named my youngest son Michael after Mike Barron. Mike Barron is a good friend of mine. He got me into comics professionally. My first work was drawing the Punisher. But it wasn't the Punisher. It was the Detonator, but it was the Punisher. Because Mike wrote the Punisher for Marvel in the 80s. And then over at Image Comics, he had a character called the Detonator, but it was the Punisher. Anyway, that was my first real job in comics, was drawing the Detonator. So Mike is a good friend of mine. We've been friends for over 20 years. I sent him and you, Jericho, and about 10 other people a copy of this. This is a proof copy, just to make sure there are no errors or anything like that, but also for reviews. And I want people who I sent it to read it, and if you love it, talk about it on social media. And Mike just sent me a big bravo today. So when you got an Eisner-winning writer, he's 75 years old, he's been writing comics forever, to tell you he loves your work, that means a lot to me. He loved Dean Cain. He thinks I'm a talented writer. He's encouraged me a lot. So it has Mike Barron's stamp of approval, so that means a lot to me. And my editor at Arc Publishing, a new publishing in print, but he's an old editor from he's Tony Daniel. He said it was great too. So they've already read it. I'm glad you're reading it. Have a blast. This is Star Wars. This is Interstellar. And it's appropriate. It's age appropriate, but it's not boring for adults. It's totally compelling for adults. There's such a rich interplay between the husband and wife. They're the two heroes, the man in the blue and the woman in the orange. Obviously, the guy with the red skeletal face, he's probably not very nice, or the evil emperor behind him. There's a robot.
My son picked him, the bad robot. He's like, oh, I like that guy. I was like,
doesn't he look awesome?
I said, I think he's a bad guy. He's like, oh, he looks cool. I like him.
But he has a great name. I named him Skate.
Yeah.
And that word means to attack. Like if I said I gave you a scathing review, that's where that word comes from. It's scathe. So I thought that was a great name I came up with. But yeah, scathe is disgusting.
Man. So far, so good.
Okay, you're going to love it. It's cosmic. I mean, look at this. Look at this page here with the two faces looking at each other and the guy in the wingsuit flying down to the plane. It's a great book. I really love it. I'm very proud of it. Worked very hard on it. Eddie Contrarian says, Mike Barron is the GOAT. Also, spoilers, been out of the loop. Your book, Empyrean, out already. Available to buy right now. Empyrean will be crowdfunding July 24th. My birthday. I'll be 47. It's going to be a big deal at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm doing everything I can to get Mike Barron out to Comic-Con, by the way. I want him to come to my booth and do some signings. He's a good friend of mine. We're not getting any younger. So I was talking to him on the phone yesterday. You got to come out, Mike. So hopefully we'll get Mike out there. Love Mike. And Empyrean, I'm going to crowdfund it starting on my birthday. But here's the thing. You see it. It's in my hand. It's real. It's 100. Jericho has it. Is this a real comic book I mailed you?
It is. It's awesome.
So
it looks great. Feels great.
So you don't have to worry when you crowdfund it if you're going to get it or not. Because I don't know if you've heard, that's a bit of a problem with some of the crowdfunders. They like to get all the money, but they don't like to get the book out on time. They sometimes take years to get it out. I take all the risk I can up front, so you guys don't have to take the risk. I understand there's some people that don't have any money, so they need to get all the money first, and then they use that money to work on the book. That's legit, as long as you do it in the time you said you would. But too many people are blowing deadlines like crazy in independent crowdfunding, and I don't want anything to do with that. So I take as much risk as I can as a businessman. Then I ask you to crowdfund me on the back end to publish it and all that great stuff. So you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. And it's done. You see it's done. So there you go. Let's see. One more comment, and then we're getting into this movie because we're going too long here without getting into it. Michael Coulter says, one of my favorite comic artists besides Stan Lee is Todd McFarlane. He is responsible for one of my favorite anti-hero, Spawn, which, by the way, I'm a little nervous about the new movie coming out. Yeah, we'll see. I trust Todd McFarlane. I don't know him personally. I think I've met him once or twice at a con or a Comic-Con or a Comic-Con party or something. I think I've at least shaken his hand. I don't think I've ever really spoken to him. But he's one of the legends of our business, and he's a great businessman. He's the number one toy manufacturer in America. If you go to Walmart and you go down the toy aisle, half of those things are made by him. He has a license for every damn toy you could think of, whether it's superheroes or Fortnite or I think like Lord of the Rings. His company makes toys of everything. But he's a brilliant businessman. So I think if he has enough influence on the movie, it won't be woke, is what I'm saying, is what I'm hoping. I think he's a great enough businessman. I'm so impressed by him. He's such an amazing example of an independent businessman that I'm sure he knows not to be woke, but it might not be up to him. So who knows? But I'm rooting for him. Let's see. Andy Contreras says, dope. Thanks for the info. Has Jericho seal approval? So it's definitely gonna back when it's like, oh, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Every backer is a precious gift to me, And Jericho, you could tell them. So I'm not just talking about myself. I work hard on this stuff, man, and I give a shit, right?
Yeah, and it's really cool to again see something go from basically a concept to a physical piece of art that I now have that I'm reading with my son about 5-6 pages if he's lucky a night. And it's great, man. It starts off running, there's not this slow build up, you start mid run, and it's great so far. Like I said, we're when it comes back to present day after the 11-year flashback, so it's going, it's moving here, there, it's well written, it looks great.
Thank you. I always write mine comic books. I try to have them around 120 pages, and I write them just like a 2-hour 80s, 90s action movie. Spielberg, Indiana Jones, the George Lucas, old Star Wars, Lethal Weapon. That's my model in my mind always, is to stick to that 80s, 90s action formula that Hollywood perfected right there in the 80s. So I start off with a bang, always. It's always an action scene to start. And then we do deep characterizations. You can attest to that, Jericho. My characters, they're not some flimsy cardboard cutout. I'm a guy with a gun, and I'm good, and he's bad. The end. Nah, that's bullshit. That's boring. So my other one is right here. This one is coming right after Empyrean, is the Unstoppable Tyrus with, the great Tyrus from Fox News. I wrote this one. It's Ninja Turtles meets Incredible Hulk meets the Avengers. It's a superhero book. It's fantastic. There is a bit of weird lore and puzzle, treasure solving, Legend of Zelda or Nicolas Cage's National Treasure. There's some real weird ancient civilization stuff going on, but it's all action and fun. And again, these are for adults, but they're safe to hand to kids. There's nothing cussing, nudity, sex scenes. I don't do that shit. That's why I left DC Comics. I'm not doing pervert stuff. So as an adult, you'll love it because it's engaging and it's complex for adults, but you can give it to kids and feel safe about it. So the Unstoppable Tyrus, very excited about that. That'll be coming in the late summer, early fall, and we're just going to keep kicking ass on this stuff. So there we go. Let's get into the law of Judge Dredd. Let's see. Big Baby is watching me and yelling, Bubba. Please say hi. Hi, Ivy. Oh, Jericho, say hi to her. Big Baby is my granddaughter, Ivy, and she is watching me on the TV in the living room, apparently. Hi, what are you doing?
My sweetheart.
Oh, I hear her talking. I can hear it. Her new thing is to come up to me with a bunch of markers or crayons in her hand and go, what color you like? And then she hands me one, and then we just draw all over the papers and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's Big Baby. Big Baby's here.
They're running things.
Okay.
Running things with the cutest iron fist you've ever seen.
Right. Okay. Well, I suppose that's enough dilly-dallying before we get to the movie. I'm gonna let you intro this one. Why did you pick Judge Dredd? We came up. I said suggest a movie. And you're like, all right, Judge Dredd, the Carl Urban one, not the Stallone one.
Yeah, not the shitty Stallone one.
I am the law.
I picked this one because it's a good action movie. It's a great action movie. Visually, it's awesome, especially the slow-mo scenes, the brutality of it. It's a great story. Character arc with his partner, the psychic.
Yeah, Judge Anderson. She's great.
Yeah, his character arc, from start
And you
to
were
finish.
telling me off the air. See, I'm saying this because my wife's watching. You, Jericho, were saying, not me,
I feel
you.
like this isn't going to be true.
You were saying Judge Anderson's real pretty.
No,
You were saying that.
I wasn't.
And then I was
saying
like,
that.
I'm married. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. We can't continue this
I don't have an
conversation.
opinion on stuff like that. I don't know. Was
No,
that
I
even
don't
a
even
girl?
see. I
I
didn't
didn't
even
even
see
notice
that.
it was a woman.
I thought it was just Carl Urban. Oh,
I thought it was just
So
like his
you're-
blonde brother.
so you're saying there's a female in this movie?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, so you were saying she's real pretty.
No, actually, I wasn't. So, no, this was great, man. It's a great action movie from top to bottom. It's one of those action movies where if it's on, you'll watch it. If you're,
Yeah.
scrolling wherever you see it, oh yeah, I'll
and-
watch this again.
I put it in this genre that I'm making up in my head. I don't know what to call it. We need a name for this type of action movie. The new, not the last year, but the like 7-8 years ago, Mad Max. That's just like a 2-hour car chase.
Mhm.
John Wick, which is like a 2-hour gunfight. This movie, which is a 2-hour clearing a building fight. The Raid, which is a 2-hour clearing a building fight. Ong Bak, the Thai warrior, which is like a 2-hour clearing a building fight. These
Yeah.
movies that are like, after you watch them, you're kind of like, you just because the movie won't stop. The movie's like
Yeah.
insane the whole time. The music is insane, the gunplay is insane, and the movie's just breakneck pace. What do you call
Yeah.
this kind of an action movie? Because that's what it is. It's awesome.
I don't know. We'd have to come up with a name for that. I was going to call it the 2010s, but then you started naming movies that came out before that, like Ong Bak. So, like, I think that was 2003, maybe, or even The Protector was 2005. He did another one called The Protector.
Right.
2 years after that one, where there's a scene where it's one solid shot, and he starts from the bottom floor of this club and goes
Right.
all the way to the top, and it's just one take.
That's the one I was thinking
Fucking
about.
these dudes up.
Yeah, that's the one. Not
Yeah, the
not Ong Bak
Protector.
the Tower, the Protector. Right.
Yeah, Tony Jaa, but that's another crazy
Awesome.
ass scene. But I don't know, man. Maybe we call these the breaknecks or something. But these movies that are just, like I said, you start the movie, whoa, like in the backseat of the car, what the fuck is going on here? And it's already happening. Like you mentioned, Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon 2 starts with Riggs going woo, beating his fist on the roof of the car because him and Murtaugh are in the middle of a car chase with automatic weapons. So, yeah, man, these movies are just insane. It starts off, with a voiceover. This is a mega city, 800 million civilians. There's like a minute or two of that, and then it's this car chase right here where these guys are taking drugs, the slow-mo, which slows everything in the eyes of the user. It's like an inhaler. You hit it, and then it slows everything down to 1% speed. So
Now-
everything's like
Right. So slow-mo is the drug. You
Yeah.
take slow-mo, you experience reality at 1/100th of regular speed.
Yes.
So you're gonna be here a long time on slow-mo.
yeah.
And let me ask you a 2-part question. What is the one thing you would want to use slow-mo and then do? And the one thing you would want to use slow-mo and never do?
I would definitely use slow-mo in the bedroom. That would be fun. That would be cool. Slow-mo. I would never want to take slow-mo at the DMV.
I was gonna say the DMV, the exact same
That would
thing.
just be gun in the mouth. That would be crazy. But in
You're
the bedroom,
experiencing the DMV at 1/100th of the regular
Yeah.
speed.
yeah, have your wives take slow-mo, so that way it takes longer for them. And then for you can just be, "Ugh." But to them it was like, "Ooh, you really did it." Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, those are definitely
Ooh.
two polar opposites.
What if you had to listen to Kamala laugh while you were on slow-mo? 1/100th of the speed of reality.
Give me a roll.
Oh, my
But yeah, it's cool. Like when they slow everything down, the
Yeah.
colors and stuff, the effect that they use, it's fucking awesome. And this scene, they had committed a crime. They're on the run. They're wanted. So she says, "Judge, need a judge to respond." Of course, it's Carl Urban, Dredd. He's like, "On my way."
I love that he's doing
music
his
was-
best. He's doing his best Clint Eastwood, by the way.
Clint Eastwood,
He sounds
yeah.
just like Dirty Harry.
And it's awesome.
It's
He does
awesome.
a great job. He never cuts. He never stops being Dredd. There's never these moments where he's like, "Whew, I'm gonna go home and feed my cat." You know, he's always, "Yeah, make your decision, rookie." All
Here's
that kind of
another
shit is
thing.
Awesome.
About the comics that pissed off people at the Stallone version. Now, I don't know if you know this, Jericho, but nerds and comic book nerds can be a little persnickety about getting it right.
Yeah. Mhm.
You know, they've been known to complain. I don't know if you've heard this. Nerds might complain.
Briefly, I didn't.
Judge
believe it.
Dredd never, ever, ever, ever in the 30, 40 years of him being a comic character has taken that helmet off.
True.
No one knows what he looks like from the nose up, basically. When Stallone had the helmet off, that made the nerd brigade. They hated that. Judge Dredd never takes his helmet off. Like, so, yeah.
But that's kind of
And-
that's like a major thing. Like, you know,
It's a
like,
major thing. And
you know.
Carl Urban never took the helmet off.
Never.
Never. He didn't take it off in the movie. So there you go.
Never. I want no spoilers, but I mean, he gets hurt in the movie. Still never takes it off. But he and the bravery.
I thought it was weird when he was taking a
of
shower
Dredd.
with the helmet on, sleeping with the helmet on,
Everything.
making love to his lady with the helmet on.
Do you like that? Slower.
I thought it was really crazy when he got a haircut with the helmet on.
Yeah, the guy had to put his hand in there.
Yeah, the guy
and
was
just
reaching under the sides.
kind of feel around. He's like, I think that's good. I think it's good under there.
He's like,
We'll
I
never
don't know
know.
what it looks like, bro.
We'll never know. But the bravery of these judges, you know, he's one judge and he's like, no, these guys are wanted. The law. I must enforce the law at, you know, whatever cost to my body, my personal safety. I must enforce the law. So he's on these guys. And then he's like, no, we got a judge. And the guy's coming out of slow-mo because it only lasts for like, 30 seconds. And then he's like, we got a judge. He's like, what is our, we got a judge on our ass. You shoot him. So he starts spraying at the judge. So now he's like, all right, assault on attempted murder of a judge. Now it's death. And then the driver's looking back and he doesn't see this guy walking in the street. And it's just, boom, hits this pedestrian, blood all over the windshield. He's like, they just wiped out a civilian. I'm taking him down. And then he shoots like the machine gun on his bike, takes out their tires. And then it flips and hits like a barrier, like a concrete barrier that they put out there for like construction or whatever. And two of the guys expire in the car from the car crash. And then one of the guys keeps running into one of these mega blocks. This one's called Peachtree, which is basically a huge project. It's a bunch of people.
But it's like 150 stories. It's got, what do they say?
Yeah,
like
75,000 people in there.
Yeah, 75,000 people live in this horrible. It
Yeah,
reminds
200
me of
floors.
Kowloon City. Remember Kowloon City from Bloodsport?
Yeah.
Kowloon City is a real place on Earth near Hong Kong, and it was just like a disorganized mess of things that kept growing on top of each other, of buildings and hallways and homes, and it was just completely lawless and dangerous and filthy. And it reminds you of that this ad hoc put together little society. Like these people live in these horrible project things.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guy runs into the Peachtree apartment building, for lack of a better way of calling it.
But this guy is wasting people on the way in. He's shooting civilians. Dredd is following behind him, and there's bodies laid out, shot. So this guy's killed, I don't know, like 5 people on his way in. So he squares off, has a girl hostage, and then squares off with Dredd. And Dredd's like, I'll give you an option: life without parole in the cube, or death. And he's like, what kind of fucking deal is that? He's like, do you hear me? He's all killer, man. He's like, yeah, I heard you. Hot shot. What's that? I said, I heard you. Hot shot. And the gun, from wasn't this in the Stallone Dredd? Where
I don't remember that one.
You speak to I think it is where he tells his gun to change around high explosive, armor piercing, stun, whatever it needs. And his hot shot is like a road flare.
Magnesium, like a
like
burning
phosphorus.
round.
Yeah, and it shoots this dude in his mouth, and it basically cooks his head from the inside
right
out. And
yeah, his head looks like a charcoal. He falls forward like, and his head's like glowing from the inside out.
Yeah, it's fucked
like
up.
when you're a
The
kid,
girl
you put the flashlight on your thumb, and your thumb's all glowing red.
Yeah, that's what his shit looked like.
Yeah, his head looked like that, like a thumb on a flashlight.
It was fucked up. So he's out of here, and again the callousness. I wouldn't say it's callous, but I mean I guess it is, but it's not that he's being mean. It's just that that's what's required to do this job. So he calls what does he call it? Central, or what's the name of
I forget the central authority. I forget what it's called. It's the headquarters, whatever.
Yeah, but he calls them, basically it's dispatch, and he calls them and says, you know, we need three for recycle, you know, like dead bodies and, you know, ISO cube and all this. He just calls in, you know, whatever they need, ambulance, meat wagon, and it's just very matter of fact, very business of the day, on to the next call, on to whatever. There's like no emotion, there's no attachment, there's no nothing. It's just almost robotic.
Right. So then he gets back to the base. He's going to
Yeah.
talk to his boss, and she's telling him about this recruit gal in there, the blondie.
Mhm.
Jericho was saying was real cute.
Not true.
And but she didn't pass the test to become a judge. She wanted to be one, but she didn't.
Yeah, by 3 points or something.
But she's a mutant. She's a
Mhm.
psychic. She could read people's minds and, like, you know, she could read their minds pretty instantly. And that's a huge advantage. So they do kind of want her. So they want Judge Dredd to take her out on the field test to see if she could pass. And he's like, nah, man, we ain't doing that shit. That's not what this is about.
Yeah.
So it's that, like, don't saddle me with this little girl rookie, whatever.
Well,
like,
he
come on.
tells her, he says, she's like, she missed it by 3 points. He's like, then why is she in uniform? She failed. She's like, no, this is from higher up. This is a bureaucratic thing. She tested off the charge mentally. They want her out in the field to see what she can do. So she says, this is what you're going to do. And he's like, all right.
Right.
So,
And that was, I believe this is a photo of her as a baby or as a young girl.
yeah,
and of
that's her
course,
parents.
she grew up in the kind of like project of 9,000 story building with a zillion people, and it's all dangerous and lawless.
Yeah, post like nuclear war, fucking.
Right.
Her parents died from the fallout, and
Right.
she was orphaned and grew up. She tells the judge later, she's like, I was born and raised in a building like this. You know, and you hear the dispatch saying, you know, Peachtree is, you know, home to 75,000 people, unemployment rate of 96%. You know, so it's a real fucked up place. And so he tells her, I think you could tell in the beginning he's pissed. So he's like, all right, rookie, you know, your call's on you. Your assessment starts now. You know, losing your primary weapon, that's a fail. Blah, blah, blah. This is a fail.
And they're all felonies. If you screw up parts of the test, it's a felony. So you go
Yeah.
to prison if you mess up the test.
Yeah.
Which
And he's
is
putting
weird.
all on her. He's everything. She's like, all right, so what do we do? He's like, you're the rookie. You tell me. So she looks, all right. She's like, boom, triple homicide, Peachtrees, let's hit it. And so they're going to this Peachtree place, which is super fucked up. But again, the bravery, even her as a female, she's like, you know, fuck it, let's go. And she's a little apprehensive. He's like, you ready? She's like, yes, I'm ready, sir. He's like, you don't look ready. And then they go in there and it's just fucking, all right, what do we got here? And this right here, well,
And he does ask her about where's your helmet, because all judges wear that helmet with the red X.
yeah.
But since she's a psychic, I guess she can't wear the helmet.
She said it interferes with her psychic abilities.
Right.
And he's like, well, I think a bullet would interfere more.
Yeah, that's
Good
a
point.
good line when he tells her that.
Good point.
Yeah.
Touche,
And
my good man. Touche.
She would mess up her hairdo. You know how long she spent on her hair this morning?
She's like, you know how long it took to get body and volume in this? Like, fuck off.
Not everyone's like you with all that
Yeah.
body and volume, all right?
Whatever. I do have a nice head of hair.
So then we
And
cut
so-
to the Lena Headley from Game of Thrones.
Yes. She's Mama, Madeline Madrigal. They just call her Mama. And this guy's doing a little exposition dump. Mama, head of the Mama clan. You know, she used to be a prostitute. And then her pimp cut her face. That's how she got that lovely little scar. Very small. You can't even notice it.
So she castrated him.
Yeah, she bit his wiener. Man, she bit my fucking wiener. She bit his wiener off. And there's a quick little scene where it shows blood coming out of her mouth. And the guy's screaming like, "Ah!" Which I imagine, yeah, you probably give out a little yelp having your penis bitten off.
I don't feel like, is that possible?
It's all muscle. There's no bone in there.
Right. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
not
trying to-
unless-
try to bite
ew.
through- try to bite through a steak in one bite. Like,
Well, I think the PSI on a human bite is like what? Is it what, 150?
it's a
Something
lot.
like that. We got a lot, man. I think you can take
Uh.
on a wiener. I tell you what, put a wiener in my mouth. We're gonna find out, brother. I'm gonna clamp down on that son of a bitch. Like a pit bull. Like my pit bull mittens. I'm gonna clamp down on your fucking wiener, man.
Right.
Now I guess you could. 150 PSI. It's
I
gotta
don't
take
want-
less
it
than
was a hor-
150
it was a
PSI to
horrible
get
question.
through a wiener.
Here's the thing.
Figure it out, chat.
Not everything I think I should say out loud. Because I'm a
How
very
much-
curious person. I wasn't trying to be nasty. I was just like, is that
Hey,
even possible?
Gabe, here's your poll that we won't return to. How much PSI
Nope.
does it take to bite through a wiener?
Like a set.
So
Okay. Let's just
I'm
move
talking
on.
like a soft wiener, or like a hard
Let's just
wiener.
move on. Let's move on.
What kind of wiener? Like
Answer
an
me,
Asian
boy.
guy's wiener, like a black guy's wiener. Like, what are we talking here?
What are we talking about?
Like a thick wiener. Here, look at mine. What is something like this here? Something like this here. Anyway, so she has a lot of trauma from like getting her face cut by her pimp, and she's a psychopath. So these guys got caught selling drugs on their turf. The guy's like, hey, I beat him up last week. It didn't work. She's like, you're a fucking idiot. She's like, skin him, throw him over the balcony. And he goes, hit him with a little slow-mo first. So the fall feels like an eternity to them.
So they skim these guys and then throw them out a window, 80 stories up and give them slow-mo. And just so we're all clear, this zillion story building filled with like crime, she runs that building, and that's her domain. And she
took out all the other gangs.
Slow-mo. You can't sell slow-mo on my turf.
Yeah, she started from the bottom floor and worked her way all the way to the top.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Now we're here, just like Drake. That was her inspiration.
Right.
And so they skin him, you throw them over, and they hit the ground. It's a super loud boom, and their bodies just flatten out, turn to goo. Very realistic. Almost fell in that lady with the baby stroller. It almost fell on her and killed her. So yeah, you see those three bodies, and then it kind of goes out like a bird's eye view, and those bodies turn into beeping red dots. And then they get the call, three homicides, peach trees. She's like, he's all, call it, rookie. What do we do? And she's like, well, we'll go check it out. And so they go in there. There's all the people standing around. That's the medic, like the on-site EMT. There's like a medical office that he runs. And he's the one putting them up on game, telling them who Mama is, how she got into power, that this is and he's all, assess it, rookie. She's like, three people, skin thrown from the roof. She's all, it's to send a message. This is a message killing. And then he goes up to one of the guys and pulls the sheet from over, and the crowd's like, ooh, shit. Because the guy's head is like flat and brains everywhere. My daughter's like, are those his brains? I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah,
they were.
They were. And so he pulls the guy's top lip up so you can see his gums. He's like, you know what that is, rookie? She's like, no. He's like, it's a coal burn from a slow-mo inhaler. He must have been hit with slow-mo. Felt like a long way down. And so they're like, and he keeps telling her, hey, rookie, assess it. What do we do? What's our next move? What's our strategy? It's all on her. And no pressure. She's like, well, find out where they are, hit it hard. So that's right there. He's showing her picture. That's where he's the exposition dump where he's telling, this is Mama. And she's, she started out as a prostitute and bit her fucking wiener off. I still want to know how much it takes to buy the wiener off. They're right there. And then that's her right-hand man standing behind her. And then he goes, boom. You see the flash of the barrel. Obviously, the dickless pimp is dead. And that's where Mama was born, Madeline Madrigal. She's a son bitch. So these two little junkie fuckers are looking for basically a crack house or like an opium den of old where they go there, buy their drugs, and then they can do them right there in the comfort of the trap house. And so they're following him. The judges see him go in there. And then he asks the rookie, what do we do? She's like, well, we could wait for backup. And he's like, what? Fuck that. She's like, all right, we'll go in. And so he puts a charge on the door and then knocks on the door, and the guy comes and opens a little slot to see who it is. And then right before that, the guys hit slow-mo. So now you're seeing the breach in slow-mo. You see the cool colors, the sparkles, the gold. There's like a whole color scheme that goes with this whole slow-mo shot. And boom, you see the blast from the door. There's a guy sitting by the door with no shirt on. You even see the ripples of the shockwave go through his skin, like because he has a shirt open. Dude, it's fucking awesome. The shot is amazing. And you see all the first thing you see is a screw from the bolt from the hinges come out, and everything's super slow-mo. So you're seeing the locking mechanism come apart and the door hinges, and they come in, and it keeps cutting between super slow-mo and regular speed. So it's like boom, 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 like that. And then slow-mo, you see the bullet slow motion going through this dude's cheek and just blowing out the other side of his face. One guy gets hit in the torso, and you see it just tear his ass apart. Another guy gets hit in the face, and you see his skin just shred from the impact of the bullet. All in slow-mo. Fucking awesome. The guy in the background with the shirt, you can like see the skin right here. That's the guy you see with the blast wave just go through his torso. And fucking
he's actually not dancing, the guy in the back. He's actually being shot.
He's not.
It looks like he's celebrating and jumping.
He's not doing the latest dance craze. He's dying.
Hey, kids, it's called the Dead Man. It's sweet in the nation.
It's called the Hard Stop. Let's see it. Yeah, he fucks that dude up, and they just come in, kaboom, kaboom. You see this dumb little bastard pulling a Glock on Judge Dredd. That's not.
You know
gonna
what
work.
it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Jules and what's his name in Pulp Fiction when they go to the room with the big Kahuna
Yeah.
Burger guy.
Yeah.
And just
Does Marcellus Wallace look like a bitch?
what?
Yeah.
Say what again? I dare you.
He's all, what's no country I ever heard of? Do they speak English and what? What? But that dude, that's the guy you see get hit in the face and then his skin just shreds when it comes
Right.
out the other side. And yeah, what an idiot. Why would you think it's a good idea to shoot a gun at a judge? But he pays.
Yeah.
And his friend next to him doesn't have a gun, so they spare his dumb ass. But this guy right here with the Glock, he's a memory. And then the next scene is this guy, the tech guy for Mama, but he doesn't want to. She like basically took her thumbs and like poked his eyes out and gave him like he had surgery and got like these camera like kind of
Bionic eyes.
Yeah, like cyborg eyes. And so, but he's our tech guy. He's can control all the cameras in there, see where
Yeah, he
who's
can
where.
open and close things in the building and all the monitoring and the microphones and all the security cameras. Like he's at the center of all the security for this drug den that she rules over.
Yeah, he's the I'm in guy.
Right.
Hey, I need to get patched into the NSA. I'm in. Three clicks later on the keyword. I'm in. Fuck,
just a few more megabytes and I'll be hacked into the system.
I want to get into the bathroom camera at Starbucks on Main Street. I'm in. Oh, you're gross. How'd you do that?
Right.
But yeah, that's her tech guy. And so that's the control room. So they go in there, shoot everybody, and put some kind of, I don't know, device to where he has control of the main computer system now. So the first thing they do, because they when they go in that room with the shootout, they didn't kill everybody. So the people that are left, they get arrested. And the mutant judge, every time she's using her powers, like the scenery changes, like it gets all vibraty and you hear this really high pitched sound to where obviously she's using her powers, almost like the dream sequence, where it gets all,
they don't do the harp, the broom, broom.
No, not yet.
And then everything just kind of wiggles.
Yeah, but that's her version of it. So you can tell she's using her powers. And she goes, sir, this guy right here, he's involved in that triple homicide, those guys that got tossed off the roof. This is the guy who they were selling on his turf and he beat him up, that guy, and it didn't do anything. So she's like, oh, he's one of the ones involved in the homicide. And he's like, it saved me a lot of trouble if you just confess. But of course he doesn't. So he's like, all right, we'll see how he holds up after a few hours of interrogation. So they're going to take him to the station. Mama can't let that happen because that little fucker has too much
knows everything about her operation.
Yeah, she's like, she tells her other right-hand man, if he goes to the station, he's going to talk. So they want to keep him in there. So as we mentioned before, that tech guy, her tech dude, he's in the system now. So he contacts control. That's what they call it, control. Hey, control, we need to test our blast system. And she's like, what? You aren't scheduled for one. And Mama's sitting there staring at him. He goes, God damn it, control. I put in for this thing 3 times myself. And I got my supervisor here breathing down my neck. You need to get this shit done. And they go, hold on, peach trees. Yeah, okay, no problem. Sorry about that. Go ahead and run your test. Control will ignore all your tests and your calls for help, because what they're doing is they're testing basically the response system, and they have these huge steel shutters that come down. The roof of the complex closes in case there's another nuclear blast or something like that. So it seals the building. It's like Batman when he gets the Batman 1989 where he gets out and tells the car shields, and then it goes and it totally encases itself. That's what the building is doing. And so on the way in, there's this homeless guy who is sitting in the door jamb, and he goes, rookie, what do we do? That's 5 months in the ISO cube. And she goes, yeah, but like, what the fuck? And he goes, all right, don't be here when we get back. So you see like a little, okay, there's hope. Judge Dredd isn't a robot. He does have a little humanity in there. Says, all right, fucker, but don't be there when we get back, or you're coming with me. And so as they're coming out, he's telling him right there, hey, get up. You're coming with me. Like, I gave you a chance. You didn't move. Let's go. And so doors closing now. And then the doors come down and just fucking smash that dude. And you just see blood leaking out. I'm talking like a 50-ton, 5-foot thick concrete.
Yeah, like a grape.
Like this dude it's a wrap. He never felt anything. And so again, that's the harshness of that city.
Like a city one.
Like everybody's just, totally numb to supreme violence and death. So that dude's dead. So now they're locked in. Their comms don't work. He's like, control. We need backup, and it's all staticky and shit. And so Mama gets on the intercom and says, "Residents of Peachtree, this is Mama. I'm looking for the 2 judges. Bring them to me, or get the fuck out of the way. So if you're not on our team, you're not looking for the judges, get your ass inside, or you're gonna die." So and she goes, "As for the judges, sit tight. I'll come for you, or run. It doesn't matter. You're mine." And so now what they have to do is find a place to defend and find somewhere secure with their perp, because they got him in custody. They're not letting him go. Yeah. And she tells him, "Judge, wouldn't it make more sense for us to let this guy go, because he's slowing us down? He's like, letting a felon go is a felony, or aiding and abetting is a felony. So you can't let him go." So they're like, all right, fuck it. Again, back to letter of the law, sticking by the book.
Right.
So we're not letting this fucker go. So he's like, what do? We have to get here. And he's like, gas canisters. And they have these cool little gas masks where they're super tiny. They just fit over your nose and your mouth. It's not the whole shielding your eyes and all that shit. So it was pretty cool to see that. And he tells the perp, "Oh, you might want to hold your breath. Like, we don't have one for you, fuckface." And so he shoots some, or throws the cannon. And what's cool about their utility belts, all the things that they carry, cops nowadays, it's kind of big. You got your taser, your nightstick, or your ASP, or whatever they're called, your radio, but everything they have is small. So their tear gas canisters, instead of it being a canister like a 6-7 inch tall can, they're like these little balls, like these little steel balls, and he like throws it and it sprays tear gas everywhere. And let me tell you, I don't care how badass you are, or what kind of gun you got in your hand, or what kind of mission you're on. When that tear gas hits your ass, all you're thinking is, I can't breathe and I can't see because my eyes are burning. That's it. So these guys are like, oh, what the fuck? And so they just come in, fish in a barrel, land these fuckers down, because they have to even the odds. They're outmanned, outgunned, and they have a perp with them, slowing them down. So they got to even the playing field. And man, they just walk in, laying these fuckers down. So they've already killed like 10 people. And you see all the gangs, or all the henchmen, their only focus is to find these judges and kill them. So everywhere they go, every floor are bad guys.
And this is very similar to the movie The Raid, where it's huge gangsters and there's police, like special, I think it's Korean, Singaporean, I don't remember where the movie's from, but it's a SWAT team infiltrating a gangster thing, but it's a multi-story like apartment building, and there's fighting floor to floor, and everyone in the building is trying to kill these SWAT team guys. So this is very similar to that. Antonio 707 says, "Hey y'all, is the comic book any good?" I mean, it's been around for decades. Somebody likes it. Your mileage may vary, but it is what you think it is. It's action, it's hardcore, it's he's dispensing justice, and not a lot of mercy in that book. Not a lot of mercy.
No can do. I think the only mercy is coming from the rookie, because she's even suggesting this. Like, it doesn't even occur to him. He would have grabbed that homeless dude and arrested his ass right there and threw him in the cube. But she's adding a little humanity to this, saying, well, maybe we don't have to. And again, because she tells him, I'm from here. I grew up, I was born and raised in a place like this. She's like, there's a lot of good people here who are just trying to raise their families. They're not all pieces of shit. And it's almost like it never occurred to him. He's like, oh, I thought you were all pieces of shit. So she's kind of opening his eyes, like, they're not all bad people. They're not all fuck ups, But again, that's all he deals with. Nobody calls the police and says, hey, we're having a rib cook off. You want to come get a rack? You guys are doing great. It's, everybody's worst day. So yeah, he's a little hardened by his surroundings.
Yeah. One more thing about the comic book. He probably is the most famous British superhero, from British imprints of characters. I would say Judge Dredd is like the Superman of Britain. I can't think of a British comic book character that's more famous.
He's British.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, Mega City is in America, I guess, because they all have American accents and all that. But it is a British created character. You know what I mean? It's created. Because in the movie, there's no reference to England or Britain or anything. I'm fairly certain.
And he's standing in front of an American flag.
Right. This is taking place in America. I'm saying the actual company, the author, the artist. This came from England. This comic book. So, and it's the most famous one to ever come out of there. So, must be a pretty good comic, So.
I think if this were to take place in England, he would have to be English, of course, and he would have an English accent. But with that raspiness, that Clint Eastwoodness, I think he come off sounding a little bit like this guy here. Next time I'll flatten all your balls. You know, it sounded like Jason Statham.
I'm gonna cut your fucking balls off.
Your balls off. I'm gonna cut your balls off with a boat of water. A boat of water.
Right? Yeah, Jason Statham would make a good British Judge Dredd.
I know.
Would he be Magistrate Dredd?
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't roll off the tongue.
And then he has the curly white wig or whatever.
I say, sir, will you hold still, sir? Oh no, isn't it? No, but this is great. I like that it's American, and he kills it. He's an Australian actor. And then I got into explaining to my daughter how Australia was started as a prison colony, so that was a cool little lesson. Because she used to watch this Australian teen, like G-rated, you know, super cotton candy show called H2O. I bet you Minnie probably watched that because she was about that age when it came out. It was like the early 2000s or 2010s or something like that. But my daughter and I, we always make fun of their accent because I always say, no, Clary, no. So we always say that shit.
No.
No.
Right. But the Australian accent is the one I always get wrong. I always talk like some guy from Victorian England when I'm doing my Australian. I have no idea how the Australian accent is supposed to sound.
But Australian like crikey, it's almost in the big of your throat. It's more throatal, mate.
More throat, mate.
Look at the size of that bigger.
Look at the size of that bigger.
Look at that crocodile's bigger.
I guess.
Look at that dingo's bigger.
Are you saying pecker? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying bigger. I'm like, I don't know what's a bigger.
Look at the size of that bigger.
I didn't know that. This whole time that's what you've been saying.
Yeah. That's what's so funny.
That bigger.
Look at the size of that dingo's bigger.
Oh my goodness. I was just I think, okay, Antonio says it's Birmingham is what I'm doing. Okay.
Birmingham.
Right. I'm doing a Birmingham accent. Right.
Dude, I'm on a Phil Collins kick right now.
Oh,
he kind of has that
studio.
No, I'm talking, dude. He has a song with Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind, and Fire called Easy Lover.
Oh, sure.
That's one of the greatest songs ever made, let alone one of the greatest songs out of the 80s, period.
Right.
It has that big sound. It's upbeat. Even the video, they're like messing around and having fun. And like, you know, it's 80s, quintessential 80s song.
My favorite artists are Beach Boys, #1. By a country mile. Beach Boys the greatest to me. And then Phil Collins is #2. And then you give me Huey Lewis. And then you give me Bryan Adams. Those to me are like, love the music. I could play that stuff anytime. I'm on a Beach Boys kick right now. Yeah, love Phil Collins. My second favorite, probably right after the Beach Boys.
Dude, Phil Collins is the shit. And Easy Lover is such a drum forward song. Of course, Phil Collins is a drummer. Right. So you can tell he was just like, yo, this is my shit. I'm going to make these drums center stage. And man, killed it. Fucking killed it. I love that song.
I do love the Phil Collins in Genesis, Invisible Touch. I think that's a great album.
Oh, yeah. Dude, and of course, Air in the Night. Huge.
Oof,
I didn't know that shit until recently, that shit came out in January of 1981.
Right.
That song's old as fuck. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like mid 80s or something. You know, he was super hot, man. But
no.
Easy Lover, come on, man. That's one of the greatest songs ever made.
No, I got a ton of Beach Boys. Ton of love. My favorite song forever of the Beach Boys is "Don't Worry, Baby." But second, 1A is "Don't Worry, Baby." 1B is "Surf's Up." If you've never heard "Surf's Up" by the Beach Boys, it might be their greatest song. It's an amazing song, "Surf's Up." And it has nothing to do with surfing in the beach and all that. It's actually the end of surf music and all that, and it's them moving on to more mature stuff and all that. And it's amazing. "Surf's Up." I think it might be their greatest song they ever did. And but Phil Collins, absolutely love him. So yeah.
I was like, man, where the hell have I been? This song.
Well, my mom liked Phil Collins. When I was in third grade, we were riding around in the car, and she had Phil Collins. So I got used to Phil Collins back in 1986 when I was, an 8-year-old. So I would look into the mirror, or I would look into the window of the Ford Escort as she drove down the road, and I would see my own reflection in the glass, and I would sing along. It was like a music video in my own head or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no,
Amazing.
you got to get No Jacket Required. Oops, I double clicked on it, started playing. But No Jacket Required is so good. It's his 1985 album. It's so good.
Yeah, that's when he was just, man, at the
He's
height.
in the middle of it. We Said Hello to Say Goodbye. Oh my gosh, it's so good, that last song on there.
What's the other one? It's not called Take a Look at Me Now, but what's it?
It's got a lot of hits, man. You're gonna have to narrow it down.
Take a Look at Me Now. There's just an empty space, but it's not called that. It's not called Take a Look at Me Now. Oh, Against All Odds. That is a great one. Against All Odds. Oh man,
What about Throwing It All Away? When he was in Genesis on the Invisible Touch album, Throwing It All Away is so good. In Too Deep. You know I love you, but I'm in too deep.
I'm in too deep.
Oh,
that has that great
good.
keyboard 80s sound too. In Too Deep.
Right.
Dude, Phil Collins, man. Come on.
Can you hear that at all?
Yeah. Dude, Phil Collins is the shit.
Oh my god, I can't play too much because YouTube will forget. Oh my god, I love that song, In Too Deep. You know I love you, but I just can't take this.
Dude, that was the high school dance last song.
Right.
All that fucking year, for sure.
She sang elevator music. Do we have to banish her from the channel?
What?
Phil Collins is one of the greatest human beings of all time when it comes to making music.
You keep making comments like that, Heather. You will.
How dare you? How dare you?
You'll be put on the Phil Collins timeout. You don't want to go there.
Did Phil Collins do the soundtrack for Tarzan? Yeah, Where You Been?
I think so, yeah.
That is like one of the most. I know it won awards. Hold on, I have to look it up. Oh my! I listened to that. I have that. You'll be in my heart. Yeah, it's amazing. Let's see. Yeah, it's an awesome soundtrack.
British too, isn't it?
Let's see.
Another Brit.
Let's see. Album, year-end charts, singles, certifications. It went gold, that album. That's amazing. I'm sure it won tons of awards. Has great reviews. I mean, it's the soundtrack to the 1999 Tarzan by Phil Collins is amazing. Sir, you play Land of Confusion? Yes. I saw the video for that when I was a kid in 3rd grade. It was so good, the video for Land of Confusion.
Yeah,
nice hat. Oh, yes. Glock. Perfection. That's the greatest slogan ever. This slogan?
Yep.
Perfection.
I know.
I'm a Glock guy. My first handgun that I ever purchased was a Glock 17. And I love it. I love it.
Same here. Then it was a 21.
No, I'm glad you love that stuff because I know you love Huey Lewis too. And
yeah,
I'm so passionate about like the Beach Boys though, man. I just freaking love the Beach Boys so much. And it's so sad Brian Wilson died. That was very sad to me. I love Brian Wilson. I really related to him as an artist. When I hear the things he did, when I hear those 5-part vocal harmonies, the modulation in the music, the key changes, the movement, as an artist, I'm like, I want to make something that good. My goodness. You know what I figured out about Brian Wilson's Beach Boy music and the later stuff and the regular, just Brian Wilson by himself? Brian Wilson said this about life, and he said it better than anyone in music. He said, life is really hard. Life is really sad and tragic, but you know what? It's going to be all right. That's what his music says, and it's one of the most beautiful things in the world. On Father's Day, I sent my family in a text, my kids, a text telling them how much I appreciated them being a father. I love you all, and I want you to listen to this song, and I linked them to Dream Angel, and then the lyrics to Dream Angel. That is off the 1998 Imagination Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys album, and it's about being a father. I think he wrote it for his daughters, but it's a beautiful song. So let's see. Gabe, In Too Deep is my favorite Phil Collins song. One of the dude, You put Into Deep, I'll start sing along. It's so good. Love it. Love that. Yeah, love Into Deep. You know I love you, but I'm playing for keeps.
Dude. So
I just
she
can't say.
knows.
Yeah. No, that's didn't Dennis Wilson hang out with Charles Manson? Yes. He was friends with Charles Manson, all that before
Yeah,
stuff
before,
inside was Charles Manson. And then nothing to do with him after that.
before it got weird.
Yeah.
Before it got fucking weird.
Yeah. Look into the history of the Beach Boys. There's a book by David Leaf called The California Myth or something like that. And I just finished it on audiobook. It's amazing. And he redid that book like in the late 70s, the mid 80s, and then the early 2000s. And then he redid the book like 2 years ago. And it's like the entire history of specifically Brian Wilson, but also the Beach Boys. And the lore there is deep, man. It's crazy. And then Brian Wilson's autobiography from like 4 years ago, and Mike Love, the villain, the cousin in the Beach Boys. He always gets the bad rap for being like a real arrogant bully. His autobiography, it's wild stuff, man. What a life the Beach Boys had. I'm a Beach Boys encyclopedia, man. I know everything about them. So anyway, on with Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd would have loved the Beach Boys.
It strikes me as a Beach Boy kind of guy.
Surf's up.
Yeah, it'd be weird to see him listening to that. I don't think Judge Dredd listens to anything.
I bet you he has like earphones in that helmet and he's listening to like Phil Collins love ballads while he's shooting people's faces off.
Nah, he's probably listening to like fucking like, you know, they do audiobooks, but it's like old police reports. Just so fucking boring, but he loves it. It's just all the transcripts from fucking calls and shit, 911 calls.
Heather likes Duran Duran. I don't know their
music. You go.
I don't know
Duran Duran's cool. Yeah, hell yeah. Another, you can't say 80s music without saying Duran Duran. Like
he says, Antonio says he sees Dredd listening to Wagner. Could be. Could be, isn't it? Duran Duran was always so bizarre to me because that's my grandparents' last name, the family name on my mom's side. They were the Durans. So it was really weird to me to have a band. Just when you're a little kid, you're like, there's a band named after my grandpa. Like, what?
You didn't tell me that.
You know, you're like 5 years old and you're like, Duran Duran. I'm like, that's my grandpa's name.
Tell me you're a famous British rock band or pop
Duran,
band, I guess.
Duran is a Spanish name. It means durable. It means strong and durable. So Duran. So yeah, it's Spanish. So that's who came here. I think it was the mid 16 or 1700s. Some ancient relative. That's what brought my mom's side of the family here. We came from Spain to, I think, around somewhere in Texas, northern Mexico area. That's how my mom's side got here, like 300 years ago or something like that. So
welcome in, guys.
Yeah.
Tough time to be alive.
Dredd listens to heavy metal or screamo for sure.
K-pop.
As long as he's not listening to like this new rap.
Mumble rap.
Just all the booty clapping rap. Like
he's listening to Sexy Red.
Yeah.
To Cardi B. Retardy B.
Right. Cardi B. Holy cats.
Say it isn't so, Dredd. Say it isn't so.
That's why I'm so mad all the time. I hate it so much.
You heard this bitch. Makes me pissed. That's what he listens to when he kills.
Stallion. You know what I can't figure out about like Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj and stuff? They're held up as like beautiful women. Now, I don't want to be mean or rude here. So I'm not going to say they're ugly. But I'm just going to say when we're comparing female celebrities, they're not the first ones I think of when I think of beautiful women. I'll just say it that way.
Well, they look like cartoon characters with all their crazy special or
special. Yeah, it's special. All right.
No, they're special enhancements. You know, the plastic surgeries and shit. They look like cartoons. They don't even look real anymore.
It's gross.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm sure right out of the box, you're just fine. There's no need to get, you know, but I guess it's all on how
ladies,
they use themselves.
Men been liking women for thousands of years without a big fake plastic ass. Don't worry about it.
If a man goes to In-N-Out, does he go home and add barbecue sauce and fucking mustard and all this other shit and nacho cheese? No, because it's just fine. It's fine right out of the box.
Find out what.
Stay that way.
Find out what. Don't get fat.
Stay that way, you assholes.
Be nice. Be agreeable, and we're good. You know,
good. Give you everything, man.
Right. Heather likes NWA. Wow.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
All right. I'm not a fan of rap. I actually kind of really hate rap music. So, yeah, not my thing at all. Not my thing. I look at like the fame like Jay-Z and Drake and these losers have, and then I listen to the Beach Boys or something, and I'm like, Jay-Z could literally never make music like this. He does not have the skills or the talent to do this. Why is he a zillionaire? He's not good at music. It's horrible. Ugh. Disgusts me.
Yeah, he's I don't like him for a lot of other reasons.
Alleged reasons.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
All right.
You prick, you prick.
No, not a fan of rap. Not at all. No, not my thing.
I get it.
Yeah. Give me the age rap where they were rapping about going to a friend's house and eating bad fried chicken. That sounds funny, at least. There was some rap in the 80s and 90s I liked when it was funny. And
Rapper's
it was about
Delight.
life. Yeah, when it was just like funny. And it was just like, it was funny. I liked it. It was a slice of life and it was funny. But now it's all her ass cheeks and I got so many diamonds and, shoot everybody or some nonsense. And it's just like, are you kidding me with this crap, dude?
There's some definite shit out there.
But just it's like pornography as music. It's so perverted, the music, I remember I was picking up my kids from middle school. This is like 12 years ago, 15 years ago. Picking them up at 2:30, 3:30 in the afternoon. Get in the car, and the radio happened to be on whatever station was left on last. And the rapper, girl, or whoever it was, said, "Eat the booty like groceries."
Oh, hey-oh.
With my kids in the car at 3 in the afternoon.
Hey-oh.
What are we doing as a society that we're like, that's okay in public? You want to eat booties like groceries? Be my guest. Not, what do we have to say this shit in front of kids for, though?
So say in front of my kids, you ass.
Like, this is a public radio station, and it's 3 in the afternoon. What are we doing?
Dude.
So, I don't know. Well, okay, like Digital Underground, the Humpty Dance. That's funny. I don't even know what that stuff's about, but it's just silly.
Just grab them in the biscuits. Humpty Dance by Digital Underground.
Right.
Awesome. But it's definitely a happy rap song. It's not bad. There is good rap out there. It's not all bad shit. There is some
but
pop
look at what's
rap.
Popular though. It's so hateful and weird.
That's just a reflection of its audience,
I guess.
But I will say this: 75% of rap music's bought by white kids, so they must want to hear that shit.
That's another thing. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we talking about Booty Warrior? I walked away well, you missed it.
You should have stayed here. You
stuck
maintained
around.
order.
Find out what that was about.
You left and shit got sideways. That's your fault.
Watch that video, Gabe. Not nearly one. I'll pass. Yeah, someone wants to eat a booty like groceries. Listen, not my style. You're two consenting perverts. I'm not getting involved with your thing. But please don't talk to kids about it.
Just keep it to yourself, man. What happened to people keeping shit to themselves?
Yeah, there's a reason bathrooms have doors.
Jeez.
Do what you need to do in the bathroom. Just please shut the door.
It's okay. I know we live in a society where social media tells you got to tell everybody everything all the time. But believe me, there is an art to just fucking keep it to yourself, man.
Less is more.
Come on.
Something to be said for turning the lights down low. You don't have to see everything.
That's right, man.
Every nook and cranny,
I'm a big fan of the nook. Not too much of a fan of
not a cranny guy.
Not a cranny guy. And I'm okay with that.
Cranny guys are weird. I know a couple cranny guys. So, yeah.
You got to watch them. Take your eyes off a cranny guy.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking knows that.
Keep your eyes on cranny guy. Cannot trust that
old song, keep your eyes on cranny guys. Everybody's heard that shit before. That's stupid.
Fresh Prince when he was with Jazzy Jeff. Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, yeah. Summertime?
Right? Something like Summertime. Yeah, right. That's good rap. That's fun.
Summertime is the Summertime's Thriller.
Right.
Because, every Halloween, I don't care if it's country music or rock and roll, you're playing Thriller. So that's the Summertime's Thriller.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. My disdain for rap is mostly a cultural one where they're telling people to be pieces of shit and they're celebrating it. I don't like that. And I
Not
don't
a
like
big
it in rock music either when they do it either. So that's why I'm a Beach Boy guy. Huey Lewis, Bryan Adams, Phil Collins. It's uplifting music. It's uplifting
Easy
music.
Lover, I'm telling you. Yeah, Michael Coulter, I did know that. He was a dancer for Digital Underground. And Shock G, who was Humpty, he's dead.
Oh, he
That was
died.
a few years back, yeah. R.I.P.
Oh,
Shock G, the one who put your satin on your
You know
pen.
what rap group I liked, and they were like militant or whatever, but I didn't understand it because I was a kid. I liked Public Enemy a little bit, like in 1991 or 92. They had a song with the heavy metal band Anthrax, "Bring the Noise."
Oh yeah, remember that?
I can still rap along every word of that song, every word of that.
Yeah, that was
Bass,
different
How
though.
low can you go? Death Row, What a Brother Know. Once again, back is the incredible Rhyme Animal. Come on, I know the whole song, man. I love that
Oh
song.
yeah, that was a different kind of rap. That wasn't, the death cult music that
Right.
that's
This was like,
prevalent there, too.
think, use your brain, get out of the system, get out of jail, get out of trouble, get out of the ghetto.
Yep.
Chuck D was on a mission.
But they would be shouted down if they were trying to make rap like that.
Right.
Nowadays, mainstream. What's his name? Parrish. Stealing Parrish used to be. I think he was in Public Enemy, but I remember interviewing him when I did a hip hop show at the radio station. And my brother met Chuck D a couple times.
Cool.
So he was super cool. My brother's a huge Public Enemy fan growing up. So,
I had the Public Enemy T-shirt that the kid wears in Terminator 2 with the sniper scope on it. I had that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you got Terminator X was their DJ, and then they had a Flavor Flav.
Terminator X. Yeah, Flavor Flav, the most famous hype man.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
That's what he would say.
And
Yeah,
big
he had
ass
a giant
clock.
clock on his neck. Yeah.
Big ass clock around his hat sideways. He's just a fucking caricature.
Yeah.
But no, he had some parts and songs and shit. My favorite song, Public Enemy songs, Can't Trust It.
Right, that's a great song. See, those are like
no.
And it's funny because we can't stand social justice warrior leftists now, but those were like socially aware songs, but like in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They weren't picking sides of left and right. They were like trying to more come down on right and wrong.
Yeah, here's what's going on.
At least that's how it looked. I was a kid. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, here's what's going on. Here's what we need to change.
But yeah, Can't Trust It was great. 911 as a joke is funny.
Get up and get down. 911 is a joke in your town.
Yeah, see, that was the good stuff.
Yeah. That rap. There's good rap out there too. There's uplifting rap, but yeah, the bad shit, boy, it's bad. It's bad, man. It really pisses me off when you see adults allowing children to listen to that shit.
It's not like in the Black community and the Mexican community, we don't have a problem with single motherhood, right? And I'm not shit talking single mothers. But it is a problem and it hurts everybody involved. And then you just have this music just glorifying this empty sex culture that's going to lead to that. Fatherless children, broken homes, one man with, 9 baby mamas. Like, come on, dude, it's a fucking mess.
That's who's committing the crimes. That's who's filling up the prisons. That's who's killing each other and sticking a gun in your face when you come out of a restaurant are these product of fucking single moms. The numbers are there. That's how it is. When I was growing up, we had terrible rap, Too Short, NWA, 2 Live Crew, Ice-T. Like there was bad, raunchy, or violent, super violent. The Ghetto Boys with the what's the song? My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me.
Right.
They had a song on there about it's called Chucky or some shit like that. This is Brother Lynch talking about murder and all the violent, graphic. It was like the rap version of death metal, just really super violent, gory, murder type stuff. So it was out there, but I think and I didn't come from that environment. I wasn't raised in the hood, but still kids who come from good homes can be taken in by the streets as well. But as far as the music, it was never more than a source of entertainment for me. It was never more than a way for me to kind of stick my head in there behind the curtain of the ghetto, but then come back to reality, which was my life. And there was a very clear message from my parents, both of my parents. If I catch you listening to that shit, there's going to be a problem. It was not allowed in our house. And if it was found, it was contraband and you were going to pay. There was no, my mom bumping that shit, me and my brother rapping cuss words. Fuck no. If my dad heard us listen to that shit, there was going to be hell to pay. Your ass was going to be smoking. So that was a clear message. So it was nothing more than just entertainment to me. It never had a chance to dig its claws into my mind because my parents are like, fuck that bullshit. We're not about that.
Yeah, same for me. Was not allowed to listen to that crap. You know, the heaviest we got, it was Phil Collins. That was as worldly as we got with the music.
Studio. You can only hear that once a
Right.
day. Not too
Yeah.
much of that damn studio.
Yeah. So yeah, I just never had a taste for any of the music that was preaching real nasty concepts, you know.
Yeah, and you know, before we get back to the movie, another thing that really pisses me off is this defeatist attitude with kids, where people are just like, you know, kids are. I mean, yes, to an extent, kids are who they are. They come here, they're like a phone. They come here with some apps already on them. Okay,
Right.
but you have a lot of sway over your children as parents. It's not just, well, that's just who they are. I can't fucking stand that. What do you mean? You're their parent. Do you know how much power you have to shape their life? If
Yeah.
you leave your children, if the father leaves your kid, it's fucked for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
you have
bad.
a lot of influence and a lot of power over your child. And for you to think, oh, fuck it, that's who they are. Or they're this one right here. If I was King Jericho, these people might get 15, 20 lashings for this. The parents who say, well, they're going to drink and do drugs anyway, so they might as well do it at the house so I can keep an eye on them. No,
That's
come here. I'm
that's
coming to
just
public
such
square.
fucking
I'm
loser parenting.
I'm going to
That's
tie
brutal.
your arms around this post, and I'm going to tear the top layers of epidermis off of your fucking back with this leather cat of nine tails. Are you fucking serious? What do you mean? If I catch you with drugs or alcohol or under the influence of drugs or alcohol, I'm going to fucking kill you. There's no safe haven for that. You better hide it from me, and don't tell me 20 years later as we sit around the table, hey, Dad, that one time. I don't want to hear that shit. It's not funny to me. It's not
Right.
cute. If I catch you doing that shit, I'm going to fucking punish you. No
Right.
fucking way.
That's how it's gotta
Ooh,
be.
keep an eye on him. What the fuck are you talking about? Man, please.
Yeah, it's just complete libertine, just loser ass mentality, dude.
Fuck no. There's almost an adversarial nature between you and your kids when they get to the teen years, because they're trying to get away with shit and you're trying to catch them doing shit. And there has to
Right.
be fucking consequence. I'm not your friend. I'm not your buddy. We can do that later maybe. But until
like-
you become an adult, I'm your fucking parent, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Right?
I don't care if you don't like me. If you don't do this,
But see, that's
I hope
the
you don't
weakness.
like me.
That's the weakness of some parents. They need to be liked by their kid.
Fuck
Like,
that.
what a fucking loser you are if that's
No
your
way.
mentality.
No way.
No.
I like to hear when I hear my kids tell my wife, no, don't tell Dad. No, don't tell him. That's what I want to fucking hear. I'm not your buddy. I'm not your friend. I'm not your homie. I'm your father. Period. Like, we can be on a more, more of like
I am
years
your father.
later, fucking dad, and I'll cave your chest in if you fucking test me. That's it.
No, that was the message for me growing up. We don't
I'm the
do that
supreme
stuff.
leader. I'm the supreme dictator of your life. What I say is the law, and that's it. I might hear your grievances. You can air them out, but I'm still going to make the decision based on what I think is best.
Now, when you do this, do you wear the Judge Dredd helmet and say, I am the law?
I do. I mix it up. The Judge Dredd helmet, the judge robe, like nowadays with the gavel.
Order in the court. The Honorable Judge Jericho Green is in session.
I'll bang that gavel. And once I bang it, that's it.
Right.
Don't look over at your mother. You look at me, you little shit. It's over.
Don't
Not
look
your
at your
guy,
mom.
buddy.
She's not going to help you right now.
I told my kids, I don't look at your mom. What are you looking at her for? I'm going to
They're
save
looking
you
at her
from my
because they're
wrath.
pleading that she'll do something.
Fuck
So-
no. No.
Heather says her daughter said all her friends were scared of her. Good.
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 Bring that bullshit over here, you little
Yeah.
trollops.
One of my son's football teammate in high school called me Gabe one day. I was like, you tell your little friend it's Mr. El Taib. You do not call me
Yeah.
Gabe when you are 15 years old. What are you talking about? Sweetheart, great kid, great family, but I don't know where he got that one from. For the rest of high school, every football game, whatever I went to, he's like, hi, Mr. El Taib. He went out of his way to say my name. He
Right,
felt
you
so
little
bad, I
shit.
guess. I didn't tell the kid anything. I just told Peter, he can't call me that. You need to tell the kid he can't call me.
Yeah, it's Mr. Jericho. Yeah, you give your chance, because when you give your kids a chance to set the rules straight, you're giving them a chance to stand up and show their friends that these are the rules in my house. But if it happens again, then I'll tell them. I'll tell them,
Right.
hey, don't.
And you don't want me to tell him.
Yeah,
you
you
don't want
don't
me to-
call me that. You don't talk to me like that.
That is
No.
weird. That is weird to call like an adult by their name. I've never called my dad or mom their name.
Dude, I remember when I heard my mom's name. Like somebody called
it
it
sounds
after.
fake. Like that's not her name. Her name's
Who the
Mom.
fuck is that? Nobody hear about that name, and don't fucking call back. Click. Mom, there's some lady called here asking for Ida. Who the fuck is that? She's like, oh, that's me. But no, it was somebody called and asked for it, and I had this look on my face. My mom like, who's that? I was like, they're calling for Ida. So that's me. Oh shit, I didn't know your name. Your mom. And when you see pictures of your mom for like when she was younger,
Yeah.
it's like, wait a minute, you were a teenager?
You know what's a more wild one? Try to picture your grandparents like as teenagers goofing off and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Just
'Cause
like
it feels
you
like your
were.
grandparents, they were born 70 years old. That's how it feels, you know?
Yeah, and your mom was born pregnant with you.
Right.
Like she had no childhood, no teenagers, no adolescence, no fun, no mistakes. It was just birth, motherhood. That's it. And I remember seeing a picture of my mom in a midriff, showing her stomach at this bar in Santa Cruz. I was like, what the fuck, Mom? I felt betrayed.
I have a friend. I have a friend who will remain nameless, and he told me he found out when he was like a young adult, his grandpa just told him, it's like, yeah, I have girlfriends. I've always had a lot of girlfriends. But he'd been married to the grandma and was still married to her for, you know.
What?
He married the grandma like when he was like 20.
Yeah.
And they till death they both died in their 80s, but he always had girlfriends. And it was like, I guess like an understanding between him and the grandma. He was that guy. You know?
Yeah, my mom, she said it wasn't common for men to have like two families, one over here and then one like across town.
I am fascinated by that.
That's crazy.
Because I remember hearing a story like that when I was a kid. There's a guy, you know, he lives in Cleveland, but he's got another whole wife and kids in Tallahassee. And he just goes on business like once a month and he's back and forth. Why?
But why? Yeah, like
why do it though? Why?
I would understand like a side chick makes more sense, a Sancha, but to have a whole other family, that just seems crazy.
I remember it's like, wait. He's got another house and like another wife and like 3 more kids and like a car. He's got like a dog over there and like, you know, his record player. Like he has another life.
You have another recliner?
Right.
What the fuck? Man?
Like he has another toilet that's his toilet at that house.
You have another cup, like dad's big ass
like dad's mug. Like
stays in the freezer and it holds like 32 ounces, which is perfect. Yeah, that's weird, man.
That's crazy. That's weird. That seems like a lot of work though to have 2 families.
Yeah, why would you want to do that? How do you pour, or maybe you don't pour as much into one family? Like one gets 50%, the other gets 50%. You know, maybe there's not like
one gets 49, one gets 51.
Yeah, I like her ass.
She's a little prettier, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit, 1 percentage point.
Secretary, not sure. How can they afford? You know what? If they're dishonest about their marriage and family situation, they're probably dishonest in business and find crafty ways to make some money.
But I think it was more affordable back then.
That's
true.
your
mortgage was what, $50? Right. A car payment was $5. Like for real.
A heel of bread.
Yeah, 30 cents for a gallon of gas, like shit. And even though I'm sure things were comparable, but what if he had like a really good paying job? Like if you had a good paying job, you were living fucking real nice with those.
I just want to know. I just want to know about the guys that not cheating, like whatever. That's that you know what that is. But the guy with the whole second life, the whole second family in Cleveland, and then the other one in Tallahassee. I gotta understand this guy because it makes no sense.
Oh, but you know what? You know what's had to have happened? Maybe, or for sure, not even maybe, but they're not always so far apart. You know, Cleveland.
Probably my geography is no good for this scenario. You know?
But what if it's like the north side of town and the south side of town?
Well, no, hold on. You got to be like 100 miles apart because, dude, if you got a wife in the north side and the south side, you're gonna run into her.
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
You're gonna be like Jack Chipper on Three's Company, eating dinner at 2 tables in the same restaurant with kids and wife here, kids and wife there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you haven't even touched your food. Oh, I'm full. Like, well, did you eat before we came? No.
It's not feeling too well. Oh, let me go to the bathroom. Oh, hey kids. Dude, that would had to have happened. Some dude had to have had one side or maybe one town over. You're with family B and you run into wife A. Not the whole family, but like she's coming out of the grocery store. You're with your whole family. So what does she do? Just act like she doesn't know you and just walks by, and vice versa? Like, do you bring both families together for an understanding? Or what happens when you run into wife A with family B? Like they gotta know, right? Or are you just keeping this? Like, who is that? Why that lady look at you like that? I don't fucking
I don't think she'd
Yeah.
look at you, Jericho. I think she'd start screaming like a maniac.
Dude, that would be fucking crazy.
So
Because
check
you're
out-
watching
Right.
that train wreck. You're watching the last moments that your family's going to be intact coming towards you. Because the
Right.
wife right here was like, blah, 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 blah. I said, man, I looked at the wallpaper. And Janet said she didn't like the wallpaper. So I was like, okay, I won't do it. Then we went for coffee. She doesn't see the wife fucking coming towards you. But the husband does, and he knows he has 3 seconds left before his whole life is
For
fucked up.
his tower of lies comes crashing
Dude,
down.
that's like somebody on August 8th, 1945, looking, what's that plane up there? White light, we're all fucked up. Wow.
Yeah,
That
something.
happened. That had to have happened.
Right.
Man,
Uh,
what a mess. That's like trying to wrangle a bunch of angry kittens.
You know what? You know what though? If you look at human history and you look at genetics, we do find that, like, I'm going to make up the numbers here, but they're close because I have looked into it. Only 20 or 30% of men ever reproduce, and like over 80% of women reproduce. And what that tells you is typically men historically have had harems. The women, because you know this about men and women. Hey, men will take anything for sex.
Yeah.
Women, they only want the alpha. So guess what happens with the alpha guy? He gets a lot of women and has a lot of kids. And we know this when we do genetic testing. This is how it's always played out. Because women, one egg, pregnancy 9 months, got a baby for years as a toddler. That's a heavy investment. What's the investment for sex for men? 7 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you're gone, right? You just skedaddle. You fly away on your rollerblades. Like, so women are much choosier, obviously for good reason. So they all choose the same guy historically. So, you know, so when we think about this guy with the multiple families, you know, it's kind of tending back to the old ways of these harem kind of things, you know. So
But that can't leave much room for an actual relationship, because if you have all these women, let's say you have them together, like they're under the same roof, like some sister
boy.
shit.
Oh boy.
But even if they're all on board, that's still a lot to split yourself up into. I know they want their one-on-one time. We never talk. Imagine hearing that 7 times in one day. We never talk. We don't
It's
talk.
like we never talk. You're like, which one are you?
Hold on. Oh God.
Marsha, Melissa. No, don't tell me.
Look,
Hold on.
You guys got to wear your fucking collars, all right? You're purple, you're blue, you're red, you're green. This shit, I can't.
You're the one that makes the good bacon. Okay, you come over here. It would be like you know when the adults would speak on Charlie Brown. That's how it would be in your house if I had like 5 wives. I am Arab, so I may end up with 5 wives. You never know.
It's still time.
It is my people's way to have a harem, so maybe I'll have a harem.
4 other chicks.
So then it will sound like wah, 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 wah.
Dude,
It's
it's like the Brady Bunch. You're in the middle, and there's all these fucking little pictures around. You're just like, wah, 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 wah. And then, and you said,
And then
I
imagine,
told you, and you don't listen to me.
and then your wives are fighting and being catty with each other.
Ugh.
And there's like
Dude, that's
factions and they're gossiping. Oh my god!
That's when the camera just pans out to the outside of the house, and you hear a single gunshot come from. Boom! That's the only thing that will bring me peace. Holy shit!
Yeah,
that would be
No, it sounds like a great idea to have a lot of women on paper. I think in practice, it's a very, very high degree of difficulty.
Oh man, it would just be dizzying.
Jericho, you said you were going to fix the toilet.
All of them just telling terrible fucking stories. Well, like if you don't get to the point of the story, we're all gonna die. If you don't get to the point of the story, we're all gonna die. Right?
This is why. This is reason 8,000 why my wife is the greatest woman on earth. Because I mean, she's such a wonderful, supportive, helpful, a great wife. But my wife knows that women can't really tell stories correctly because they start just. And I was wearing this dress. Oh, and Susie was there, and she had the same dress. And my wife doesn't get mad, doesn't get her feelings hurt, doesn't get disrespected. She's about a minute or 2 into the story, and she's told me nothing. But somehow I know 8 women's names, what they're all wearing, the day of the week, who was hungry, who was gassy, who didn't want to be there, who did want to be there, who didn't want the other. And I go, honey, you got to tell me what this is about. She goes, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But she lets me do that. I smile and I say, honey, you have to tell me what the story is about.
Yeah,
okay?
babe, I'm about to pan out to the outside of the house.
Right,
all
because there's about 9 characters in your story, and nothing's happened yet.
And I only
okay?
need 2. I only need you and Janet. That's it.
Oh well, Janet didn't want to go. It's like, okay, cool. Got
Thank you. My wife is the same way. I've told her, babe. And that's her only imperfection. Other than that, my wife is absolutely angelic. But her storytelling is next level fucking terrible.
so bad. It's
They
so
get-
terrible.
Get to, can you imagine 7 women all putting their hand on your chest on the highway?
When you're
Oh my
driving,
God.
they all think you're gonna crash.
Get your fucking hands. Why are there 7 hands on me right now? I saw it. Okay. I saw it.
I told my wife I'm gonna get her like a little fake brake pedal for her
Just
side.
so she
can
feels
just
better.
Get
like
her
a driving
stress out. Just
instructor.
stomp on it when you need to. Okay.
It's your little stress ball.
They're
Just hit
stopping.
that brake.
Like, right?
I
That's what the
know.
red light means. That's why I'm stopping. That's
I
also
got
why
it,
I'm stopping.
sweetheart. I
Yes,
got it.
Got it.
That's why they put the red light on the
I
back of the
too.
vehicle.
Believe it or not, baby. Now, you might not believe this. I don't want to crash my 3.5 liter V6 EcoBoost Ford F-150 into the back of a vehicle at 80
No.
miles an hour. I don't want to do that either.
Because if you weren't here in the car with me, I would have totally plowed into the back of that fucking car.
I feel like that would ruin my day if I did that.
Thank God that you yelled and grabbed me and brought my attention to these vehicles I've been staring at. Because we're on a 6-hour road trip. I've been looking at the back of this Suburban for 28 miles. I know it's there. I
Yeah,
know.
I've been staring at this
18
coexist sticker for 3 hours. I'm aware.
Yeah, the 18-wheeler's been right there for 28 minutes.
Think about what you think about is added another degree of difficulty. We'll get back to the movie. We'll kind of speed run a little bit to catch up. Think about what you think about. It says my wife. I think you meant to write. My wife will sometimes start telling me stories and not realize she's doing it in another language.
Dang.
Oh boy.
Oh, babe, you got to first of all get to the point because even though I don't speak that language, I know you're off topic.
Yeah. Say
And
yo
then
no
bring it back to
comprendo.
English. Bring it back to
English.
English, please.
En inglés, por favor, mi amor.
I know nonsense in any language.
Right. Hardy Harmonica says, get the steering wheel kid toy. There you go. I'll get my wife one of those with a little the horn that squeaks.
Is that better? And get ones with little dishes on it so you can put some goldfish in one, and
Right.
then maybe some cut up fruit in the other.
Yeah. Maybe I get her one of those playtime stove and dishes so she can pretend she's doing dishes and cooking while we're in the car. Just keep her busy, you know?
Keep her skills sharp. Oh man, women. Women.
There you go.
We
But
love you. We love you.
and it's not a flaw. This is the way women are designed. There must be a purpose for it.
If this is all we're complaining about, then they're
Right.
pretty good women. you
Yeah.
know?
We got
Or-
good lives. If this is my complaint as the bad storytelling, it is
It's
funny.
It's
The
bad.
stories are just pointless and overly detailed. And then I was there, and she was there, and she had this dress. I think it's beautiful. I saw it online. I don't want to get it. They didn't have my size. Theirs was too long. And it's like, why would you tell me that?
Ugh,
Like,
I don't know.
really
That's
think, why would you tell me that?
but it's instantly infuriating that you would. I don't know why that is. It makes me so mad for her to give me details that I
But
just
you're a
don't
male.
need.
And it just hurts your brain because your brain doesn't work that way.
I get so mad, and I'm just like, why am I so mad?
Well, I heard a
about that?
psychologist bring up a great point about men and women in the postmodern Western world. Is as far as we know, this is the most men and women have been around each other historically, because we're so different, men and women were with the women, and the men were with the men, like basically in all societies, because we had to work a lot more in the past, chopping down trees and killing dangerous animals and hunting for food, and the men were just like with the fucking men all day. And the women were sitting around, picking berries and gossiping or doing whatever they do all day, watching babies. And we weren't together constantly. We definitely didn't work together. Think about women in the workforce. That really comes in World War II, just a scant 80 years ago. That's tiny in human history.
Mhm.
So, this whole mingling of the men and the women, it's got some interesting results.
Well,
you know?
I think back then, the farther you go back, I think it would be more of like a download at the end of the day because you haven't been around each other, or maybe you're in a hunting party that's been gone for 3 days. So now when you get back, it's all been stored up, and when you lay down at night, thinking
You're gonna give her what
finally-
for?
Yeah, I'm finally laying in an actual bed. I'm not sleeping on the ground. It's warm in here, and then fucking. So let me tell you what happened while you were gone. And then,
Like, no, I'm gonna give you the business, and then I'm gonna go to sleep.
She's like, and then. So like, I told her, I was like, I'm not gonna shut the maze. You're gonna shut the maze. I'm going to get the acorn.
Oof.
She wanted to get the acorns. And then pan out, single gunshot.
And she wore the same dress I was wearing. She did it on purpose because she knew I was going to wear it and she knew I liked it. She knew I looked better in it than her.
She knew that this is my dress that I wear for the annual sacrifice, and she wore it for the annual sacrifice. And I was like, I am not going to wear the dress, but she's wearing it for the annual sacrifice. I'm like, ugh. I'm already done. Like, for me, to hear a group of women talking at the same time is...
I was on my daily walk, a few blocks from my house, and there were some women leaving another group. That must have had lunch here, these women. There's like 6 women, and they were in the street. Like 3 were at the home, and 3 were getting in the car, and they were saying bye. And they were all talking loud and fast, and they were all talking, and they were all listening, and they were all answering. It was a thing to behold. It was going in every direction, the conversation. It's like, wow, a man's brain can't do that. Like, how are you guys all doing that? That's wild. I don't know.
Dizzying.
Yeah.
Like
a woman's brain has 10 times the white matter that a man's does. The whole brain for women is interconnected. The male brain is like walled off in sections, right? Mm-hmm. So then you think about how we think, men, and how women think. We're very linear. This is this. And then women are like, this is this, but it also reminds me of this. And then I feel this way. And I picture a woman's brain like a bag of tea. The water goes in it, out it, through it, around it. And a man's brain is like pipes, like steel pipes. The water's going in that direction, and then it's going over there. If you want to turn it the other way, you got to turn a valve, and then it'll go that way. And a woman's brain is just a tea bag, just water going everywhere. It's just every thought is related to every emotion and thought. And
it's a ball. It's like if you look at a bird's eye view of like an interconnection of interstates, like in fucking Los Angeles, where it's like 20 different highways that are going in loops and shooting in this direction, and east and west and north and south. It all makes sense to the architect who built it all, but somebody who maybe on the outside looking in is like, what the fuck is that? But makes sense to you guys.
I saw a scientific a research study just this last year, and it was just one of those information graphs with like dots, kind of data points on it, and it was showing the way men think and the way women think, like the way we observe and interact with reality. And like if this, one side is men and one side is women, there was almost no crossover. So the reality that you're experiencing, Jericho, women don't experience the reality the way we do, and vice versa. That's incredible to think about.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because it's the same reality in theory.
Reality is subjective. It's in your brain, right?
But we're both looking at your red shirt.
Your perception, your perception is subjective. Reality itself is objective. Reality, it is what it is. But the way you perceive it is subjective to the individual and subjective to the sexes, which is fascinating to me. So
crazy.
According to Neil deGrasse Tyson, Neil deGrasse Tyson is an idiot's idea of a smart person. Has there ever been a bigger fraud than that guy?
Ugh. I don't like that dude. And also Michael Eric Dyson.
I don't know who that is.
Shitty dog. He's a word salad fucking king. The king of the word salad. He's one of those pro-black dudes who are half black. He's one of those. I can't fucking stand him.
Here's my favorite. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a big brain, but he's actually an idiot. This is my favorite moment from him. Because he's always actually, he's that guy, I'll show you Neil deGrasse Tyson getting owned on Twitter. This was years ago. But he's an astronomer, and he's a smart cookie, so he thinks. The leap day is misnamed. We're not leaping anywhere. The calendar is simply and abruptly catching up to the Earth's orbit. Then this guy says back, hey, Neil Tyson, if only there was a name for such a sudden and abrupt lurch forward.
You dick.
I can't stand the smart. Actually, if the Death Star shot, he does that when like sci-fi movies come out. He'll say, Superman would not actually get powered from a yellow sun compared to a red sun. Because,
shut up.
Like, you must be amazing at parties, bro.
Actually, it's not a party. It's shut the fuck up.
Speaking of reality, what's going on with Judge Dredd? So anyway, they have the suspect of the murders and all that, And the big boss, Mama, doesn't want them to take the suspect down to the police station because if he talks, and he will, because they'll torture the shit out of him, they're going to know her whole operation of being the one that sells the drug slow-mo, how she runs this part of town and probably lots of other parts of town. She's a big dog. She's a big gangster, and she doesn't want them to know all her secrets. So if they arrest this guy and take him away, that's what's going to happen. So they lock the building quite literally. Big concrete and steel barriers covered all the windows and openings in this giant 100-story crime-filled apartment complex project kind of thing. That's where we are. They've fought off some bad guys initially and killed them, and they are trying to figure out what to do now. That's where we are.
And it's funny because he goes to take out Mama, and he says, hey, if you get caught, save a bullet for yourself, because you know what they're going to do to you is going to be fucking crazy. And so she's left alone with the guy. So then he starts thinking that he can mess with her mind. You know, that he's like, oh yeah, one of you mutants, huh? You can read minds. He's like, I don't believe it. You know, and then so she goes inside of. He's like, if you're so cool, are we to that part yet?
We're not.
Okay,
There's
we're not
still
that part. Okay, forget
still
it.
more setup.
So
Well,
this right here is when they go to the medical building or medical area, and he says, he's all, let us in. You know, we need a place to defend. He's like, nope. He's all, this is neutral. He's like, neutral? You're picking a side. You're fucking helping them out. You're not letting us in. He's like, no. He said, you guys are dead already. Mama's gonna fuck you up, and I'll be left here to deal with her. So no.
Yeah, those are
closed.
He says those are heavy-duty blast doors. No one can get in or out, and he will not let the judges in there to hide and defend themselves.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Which would have been cool, bro. Would have been real cool.
So bad guys are scrambling all over the building, ready to come and get them. This is the suspect who, think about what you think about, is asking, was he on The Wire? I don't know. I saw The Wire like 15 years ago. One of the best crime TV shows ever, but I don't remember everyone that was there. It was a great show, though, The Wire. They hide in an apartment, right? They hide in this lady's apartment. They're looking at the peephole. Bad guys are going by. And the bad guys are, what is Lena Headley? That's Mama. And the bad guys, they're trying to figure out what to do. They're looking at all the cameras and stuff like that to try and figure out what Judge Dredd and Judge Anderson, the psychic, are. You know, and then this guy, he's the guy, I don't know if we ever catch his name, but he's the guy who's the computer tech expert, and she tortured him, ripped his eyes out, and made him her tech expert, you know, so she could keep tabs on everything going on in this building. So very brutal. She's awful. Awful.
Yeah, very violent psycho.
So here's the part you were talking about. So they're on camera. The bad guys know where they are, what level of the building they're on. And Judge Dredd's going to go one way to get Mama. And he tells Judge Anderson, the short blonde girl, she's got to stay with the suspect. And then that's when they get into a thing, right? Her and the suspect.
In there. That's what he tries to fuck with her. He's like, I don't believe it. He's like, if you're such a powerful psychic, what am I thinking right now? And of course, it's them having sex. He's like behind her and shit. She's like, you're thinking of us having a very sexual liaison. And she's like, basically, you know, big deal. Like, of course you'd think that. Like, that ain't shit to me. And then so that's kind of the end of it. And he goes, what am I thinking now? And then it was something like that again, and she hits him upside the head with the gun, and she's like, what the fuck are you thinking now, huh? I was like, she's pretty cool. And what I liked about this is it wasn't some super unrealistic, like, boss bitch stuff with these girls. Like, yes, they're women, and she's a cop, but it was realistic. Like, and with her psychic powers, she was able to use her mind more than her physicality, which, you know, that guy would easily fucking overpower her, but she's in his mind, she's fucking him up.
They didn't do a woke female that could beat him up with her hands. She has crazy psychic power, so we can believe that, and it doesn't make her woke. But she's not judo flipping him and like, and like, you know, MMAing him to death or anything, because that'd be
And this is 2012, so this is before.
This is right when woke, I think, was going to take off. 2013 is the year for me in my mind where it just goes turbo.
So this is these are the last days of freedom and
last days of semi-normalcy.
2012. I miss you, man.
So the way this building is structured is it's a square with a hollow middle. So if you jumped off the top apartment in the inside of the building, you'd fall, 100, 150 stories and splat on the ground. And then it's a ring of apartments around it. That's what you're looking at here. One of the levels here. So
yeah. So then she's like, all right, we know where they are. Get the guns out.
Yeah, and they just start melting the walls with these like
Dude,
Gatling guns
there's
because they think they have a
thousands of
location
rounds.
for
Yeah.
Judge Dredd.
And they do. They found them, but they don't care about the civilians. They're mowing down people who are running for safety too. Just and the sound. I mean, it was fucking awesome. She wouldn't be standing that close to the barrel, that's for sure.
No.
If she
Another
died,
great
her
thing that you
ear.
bring up in a lot of other movies we watch, the soundtrack in this is great. It's like industrial heavy metal,
Yeah.
and they stick it in at parts where it really has an emotional punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these heavy industrial guitars and industrial electronic stuff, and it's very of the time, 2012, but it works. It really adds correctly to the flavor of this movie. So,
It's great. And all three of those are going to the and it keeps intercutting between him running and people getting mowed down and back to the guns with the sound. And so she gets behind him. She's like, concentrate the fire. So all three of those guns are going to make a point, and then it's like jackhammer this one point where they are. And I mean, the bullets, the tracer rounds are coming through the wall. I mean, this looks like, I think it was like a 7.62 or something. So these are rifle rounds, probably 4,000 rounds a minute, 75, 80 rounds, 100 rounds a second. I mean, these things are just going off.
that's insane to think about. I know it's true, but it doesn't sound true. It's like, what do you mean 75 a second?
Like,
No.
it's like leaving your phone on vibrate on the coffee table.
But how can
the
a
sound it
gun
makes?
fire that fast and just not fall to pieces? The tremendous force.
Well,
It does,
Gatling.
It
Gatling
does.
back in the end of the Civil War. Could you? I'm sure all men have thought this, especially as a young man. But how
Right.
crazy would it be if you took back three of those
Right.
guns right there to like the Civil War?
You'd
and just
rule
fucking-
America. If you had enough
and three
bullets,
guns.
dude, if you just had regular plate armor and just enough bullets, you could take over the world.
Yeah, if I could take like those three guns and a million
What could
rounds.
you not destroy with those guns?
Nothing. Go back
Trains,
to like
boats?
1700, where everything was wooden,
Right.
brass. You're and not
Right.
only are you dead, but I'm gonna sink your ship a mile away from the shore. You can't even see it.
Right.
I'm gonna fucking and just cut that shit in half. No
Right.
problem.
What could
Yeah.
one soldier, like a modern Marine with a a rifle and a pistol, a couple grenades, I wonder how many like knights he could take out,
Or send like a SEAL team, like send SEAL Team 6 into Camelot and see if they could take the castle.
I bet they could.
Yeah, a fucking
Shoot.
around. We'll go right
Go
through
right
that,
through that armor,
bullshit.
right through it,
Like
yeah.
a hot knife through fucking butter,
Right.
and from a long distance.
Right.
At night, they do it at night with their night
I
vision.
wonder
They're
though,
fucking-
could they kill 100 knights? Could they?
I think so.
I
You
bet
imagine them going under the cover of night. It's completely dark. Oh, they have
Right,
some torches. You can't see them until they're 20 feet away, and then it's barely. Those guys would slither around that castle like fucking snakes, dude, and just
Right.
snipe the fuck out of those dudes. Yeah, in the silencer, so all you hear is a little snap. You wouldn't even know what that sound was. And they
I
probably put
remember
a
as-
sniper on the hill. It's over.
I remember thinking that as a kid, that if I went back in time hundreds of years ago and I just had like an Uzi or a machine gun, I could just become a warlord,
Just fire a few rounds in the air, and they all
Like
duck.
just, you have to have, the dream part of this, besides the time travel, is, the ammo. Like I have unlimited ammo. The thing just works. I don't have 100 rounds with me. You're going to be in big trouble if you have 100 rounds,
Like a million.
Yeah.
A million rounds. That's an astronomical amount of ammunition.
Right.
Like a shipping container. One
Right.
shipping container full of ammunition. You're good.
Right.
You're good. Sniper rifle, a pistol, a shotgun, and like an AR-15 style.
There you
rifle.
go.
Like a 7.62.
I remember the first time I shot
AK.
an AR. I was with my buddies in Vegas at the Clark County Shooting Complex. Love that place. And the second I pulled the trigger on the AR for the first time, I go, oh, that's why Democrats hate these.
Yeah, because they're
They
fucking
are
awesome.
super accurate, very little recoil, very easy to use.
Yeah.
So
And
you
they
could-
look cool as shit.
and they look cool as shit, but they're easy to use,
Mhm.
like really easy to use. And I was like, oh, that's why they hate these.
Like if you
Because,
sent one battalion back that has like a set of howitzers, tanks, some APCs, what? I don't even know how many soldiers in a battalion, but say like 500 soldiers. You could take over the world because
Oh
you have the ammunition. Those howitzers can shoot like 10 miles away.
right.
You blow them up before they even got out of bed. They'd be
Yeah.
in their camp and you would just fucking.
You imagine you have drones equipped with some like missiles and bombs. What you do to Genghis
Dude,
Khan?
With a
What you
couple
would do to
F-22s in
Alexander
the
the
sky.
Great? They wouldn't
Oh,
do
dude,
shit.
they would. You wouldn't even need any soldiers. You do one bomb run, and then the rest of them are bowing and worshiping at your feet.
This would be like Shaquille O'Neal playing Little Tykes basketball rim against 5-year-olds.
Against Oshkosh Bagosh All-Star team. Just fucking.
Some kids wearing Garanimals.
Yeah, good dude. Just two-hand windmill 360 on these little fuckers, dude. Killing them.
When I get in your head, it's over.
Look here, kids. I love the kids. But Shaq's gonna have to dunk
My
on you.
favorite Shaq moment is when they had him eat the Pocky hot chip on the air.
Oh, yeah. He thought he was tough.
Yeah. He's all, I was in Alpha Phi, do or die. Like he was talking about some fraternity he was in, and he's like, "There's nothing. I was in blah 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 fraternity, like we did." And then he's like, "Whoa!" After he eats the hot chip.
That's what I thought. Yeah, Shaq will talk a big fucking game. He'll talk shit, but he did that on that show, Hot Ones, too. Oh, this is nothing. This is nothing. Shaq Diesel, blah blah blah. And then he got to the bomb. And he was like, "Whoo, shit, what?" Like, yeah, thought so. This is science.
I can eat just about anything hot. And I tried the Pocky hot chip, and I had to have ice water for 15 minutes after I took one bite. Oof. And I can eat, like I order those weird hot sauces on Amazon, Da Bomb and all that stuff, a zillion Scoville units, and I can eat habaneros out of the jar. I love hot food. I can eat the hottest stuff. The Pocky hot chip is no joke, dude. I have 2 at my house. I bought 2 at a gas station because my son, I said, let's try it if I ever see it. And it was a Flying J gas station in Utah. They had them on a rack. So I bought them, and I took one bite, 15 minutes of ice water, one little bite. Horrific, this thing. So hold on, let's see.
It's not necessary.
I want to show you this. Okay, here we go. Here's Shaq eating the hot chip.
I can do it. It's not a problem.
Oh, yeah, man. Tell him, Matt.
Shaq Diesel.
What's the time of year? Omega's 5'5".
Bullshit.
Die.
Hard as fuck. Feels like I licked the devil's ball shot.
That's that little. I'm not making a face, bro.
Yes, you are.
I'm just coughing. I'm not making a face. I'm just coughing.
That counts as a face.
I'm not making. Ernie, I'm coughing.
I know when you go.
Ernie, I'm coughing. Yeah, this should be making me like, I'm not making a face. Oh, it's hot. Anybody got some milk?
And dude, it crept up on me, that thing. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Fuck that. That didn't sound like fun at all.
Sorry, wrong screen. Sorry.
Yeah, we already did that part.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
If you're putting that part in now, Gabe.
Whoop the Navy. Technical difficulties.
So after this part right here, thousands and thousands. I don't know how long this scene is. Man, they're wasting all kinds of people. So they finally stop. And then she's looking, into where they shot it across the way. And they end up blowing a hole in the wall and going outside. So now their comms are back. So now they call for backup for the judges.
Oh, right. When they locked down the whole building, none of their radios could work. So Judge Dredd and Judge Anderson couldn't call for help. You're right.
So now they make it outside. Their comms are back. They call control, send more judges. And they're like, but we got to go back in there because if we stay out here, then they'll know where we are and they'll just come fucking kill us. So they got to go. Again, the bravery. Let's go back in. We know it's crazy. They're fucking insane. Let's go back. So he goes back in and she's looking. Mama's looking across the way to see if they see anything. And she hears the judge's gun. And then her right-hand man, the guy that was standing there with the gun over her shoulder when her mouth was all bloody, fucking, he just goes, he grabs him by the back, the scruff of his neck and the seat of his pants and just tosses his ass over the side. He falls all the way down. And then Judge Dredd just turns around and walks back into the smoke. It was a cool-ass shot because it was all smoky and shit from the fires, and he just turns around and walks back into the smoke. And that's like the first time you see Mama like, oh, shit. Like,
right.
I thought he survived that. This dude's insane. So now they go into a room, and he's like, now you got me curious because she was willing to kill all of those innocent people just so you don't get interrogated. What the fuck do you know? And he starts, dude, socking him in his stomach, beating the shit out of him. Dude busted his mouth. And you're like, fuck this dude. It's a piece of shit. So he's racking him up pretty good. And then Anderson goes, Judge, if you let me use my abilities, you don't have to ask him shit. I'll find out. And she goes, and you see the expression on her face change. She goes, sir, Mama has a whole drug production operation going on in the basement. She makes it for the whole mega city. There's 800 million people in mega city, and she's making it for the whole area. And she's the number one supplier. He's like, that's what we're basically sitting on the hive of slow-mo. And
Now
so
hold
that's what-
on. So we talked about slow mo at the beginning of the show. Now I do not do drugs, never have. I'm against drugs, but slow mo is a fun concept. So you take your favorite moments in life, and then you take a hit of slow mo, and dude, it's like 100 times longer.
yeah.
So you're like eating the In-N-Out double, but you take some slow mo
It
first.
feels like it takes an hour to eat it.
Takes
You're
like an hour.
yeah.
Would that be fun or would that be horrible to take an hour to chew this burger? I don't know.
No, that'd be awesome.
Or your
That'd be awesome.
favorite
Imagine-
team wins the Super Bowl, and right as the clock is counting down to 0, you just hit the slow mo.
Yeah, and you're just living in that moment.
Celebrate for like 5 hours. if they
Yeah,
won the
I think
Super Bowl.
slow mo would be a good drug. Slow mo would be the first.
Or your wife's telling
great
you a boring
drug.
story. No, that'd be the worst time to take
She's
it.
all take the slow mo. No, I don't want the slow mo. Not right now. I have
there's
to
gotta
tell
be-
you about the dress.
They got to make the opposite drug where you experience reality at 100 times faster. You get
Yeah,
shit over.
speed up. Give me the speed up when you start telling your story.
Wait a minute,
And
Jericho. There's already a drug called speed.
no, speed up. Yeah, but this speed up doesn't make you lose your teeth and start sucking dick, though.
Oh,
That's
no?
the difference. No,
Oh,
this drug doesn't come and you're like, oh, well, I'm not taking it then.
oh.
No deal. If I'm not sucking dick in a week, I don't want it. That's it.
That's the slogan.
If you have a restaurant, good enough to suck a dick,
Ugh.
that's your slogan.
There's a brand of barbecue sauce I saw was disturbing. It's probably tasty, but I was at one of those like boutique butchers with all the expensive mustards and meats and sauces, and
Stilled.
it was like so and so's bone sucking sauce.
Put
I'm
that
like-
on a dick, brother.
But it was barbecue sauce, but it was like bone sucking barbecue, and I was like,
Yeah, no.
I get it, but that's a little freaky for barbecue sauce, man.
Yeah. No barbecue sauce is good enough to put on a cock. Come on.
I don't think that's what they meant.
I don't want to eat that. I don't want to eat something that's like, dude, if this is on a penis, I'd still fucking
I'm gonna very carefully Google this. I'm not on that's okay because you
Penis
when you run
barbecue
certain
sauce.
things into- yeah, bone sucking
penis
BBQ.
barbecue sauce.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
here
gonna be
it
a
is.
crazy result.
Yeah, no. I just got barbecue. You can get this shit on Amazon. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Open image in new tab. See, I didn't make it up.
Bone
Here it is.
suckers.
It's and it's blurry. This image. It's sweet Southern bone sucking sauce, and the slogan at the top is "We're talking serious." So there you go.
So, but if you take the IN and put an ER, then it's a totally different product. Bone suckers. Like it's a sauce for those people specifically. That bone sucker sauce, man.
Hey, man. Hey, you finish all the bone sucking sauce?
You better not be in there bone sucking. Not my house.
I told you not to be sucking all them bones.
Look at him over there. Look at that fucking bone sucker.
Oh,
Fuck you, man, you bone sucker.
let's see.
Good time.
There's a barbecue rub called Good Shit. I don't want any food
I have-
that has shit involved in the name.
Oh, I have one that's called Aw Shit. That's the one I have.
When you stop at those touristy places, they have like the wall of hot sauces. And they're like,
Yeah.
anal destruction 500 or like
Yeah.
booty blaster 9,000. Like I don't want food that has butthole in the name. Okay.
Satan semen.
Ugh. Ugh.
Why is this
Yeah.
sauce so thick? I don't like it.
Yeah. Not my style.
Gross. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so the
love me some
judges-
spicy. The moral of the story is I love spicy food.
Yeah, in a nutshell. So the judges, should they find out? Okay, we're sitting on the mother lobe, and so she goes inside of his head, and she's like, "Oh, we're inside." She's all, "Welcome to the inside of your brain. Not a lot of room in here." Or she's all, "Not a lot of room in here." And he goes, and he's still handcuffed in his dreams. He's like, "Man, if I didn't have these handcuffs on." She's like, "You don't have to have them on. It's your mind." He's like, "Oh yeah." And he stands up. He's looking at his hand. And he said, "So it's my head. I can do whatever I want." She goes, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, how about this?" And so he makes her naked, and then she's like down on her knees, and he's like, "Oh, I knew that would shut you up." And then she's like bites down on him. He's like, "Oh, you fucking bitch!" Ah. Like she bit his dick off, and like she's making him rewatch all of these things that he's
All
done,
these
skinning
murders
people,
and crimes and horrible
yeah,
things. he was
blowing
involved in.
people's brains out and shit like that. And he's reliving it, and he's all fucked up. And then she stops and gets out of his mind, and he's just sitting there. He's like slumped over, and he's pissed in his pants. He's like urine, fucking making a pool under her. She fucked him up. She's like, "We haven't even begun." Like she's like, "You want to play with me?" She's like, "Let's go." And, dude,
I
fuck
told
this
you not to
shit up.
finish my bone sucking sauce.
Told you, man.
There'll be
Finish all-
ramifications.
You finish my bone sucking sauce, I'm gonna get in your head. And she did, and she fucked him up. Again, they played it well. She's, a little lady, but with those kind of powers, special powers. And then she has a knife to his stomach. That's why he's like, please. She's gonna fucking basically disembowel him because she's telling him to keep the judges away.
Right, because judges are trying to come in from the outside now because Judge Dredd called for backup. So she's telling him to lie to the people on the speakerphone to get in the building. And Tony says his buddy dipped toothpicks in a hotter than hell hot sauce in junior high and passed them out, and someone had to go to the hospital.
Well, fuck, if you're dumb enough to eat it, like, yeah, you fucking idiot.
I bought a sauce on Amazon called Da Bomb, and it's 4 million Scoville.
Oh yeah, it tastes terrible.
And I've eaten it, but I can eat it. I'm telling you, the pocket chip was hotter. But I put some on a toothpick, but I told her, and I gave it to my mother-in-law, who is Mexican and makes and eats a lot of salsa. But it burnt her mouth.
She wasn't ready for that.
No, she wasn't.
That
but
shit
I did tell her what it was.
Hot. And it tastes like shit.
I didn't like it. It didn't have a lot of fruity flavor. It was just hot. It didn't have any pepper flavor,
Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if there's a YouTube video on using that to like clean the inside of your fucking gas tank. Or
right.
Some shit. Like
if your silverware's tarnished, you just put that.
It does not taste good. It's just to set your mouth on fire. And it does.
And then there was I went with my mom for sushi once when I was in college, and she'd never had it. So I just told her, "Oh, try the green thing."
It's avocado.
And she ate a big chunk of the wasabi. It was like, so
it's not.
Yeah.
Not what you might think it is. It looks like avocado paste, but let me tell you.
Yeah. Doesn't Buc-ee's have a hot sauce section? I don't know. I've been to Buc-ee's a bunch. I love Buc-ee's, but I never noticed it. I'm sure they do though. Buc-ee's has everything under the sun. Jericho, you still haven't been to a Buc-ee's, have you?
Not yet. I want to get one of those Buc-ee's brownies. That shit looks nuts.
Dude, their barbecue brisket sandwich is insane. And they have a thing where all the people in the food area go, brisket on the board, and they pull the brisket out and they start chopping it up to make new sandwiches. That's the best part of Buc-ee's is the sandwich area. The barbecue sandwich, sausage sandwich, chicken sandwich, ham sandwich, at breakfast. They have like the McDonald's biscuit with the egg and the cheese and the bacon. But imagine like how you would make it at home, like better, bigger. Yeah. They have that. They have croissant with like scrambled egg, cheese, and bacon. Dude, I don't know. I hope they don't open one by me because I don't know how I'm going to keep the weight off. Place is so
we know where to find you.
I went to visit my dad in Colorado. There's a Buc-ee's by his house now. It's like the only Buc-ee's in Colorado. In 4 days, I went there 3 or 4 times. I think I went there like once a day to get sandwiches and stuff. It's so good.
Family's outside. Dad, come home. Come home.
I live here now. I live at Buc-ee's now.
Do you have a Buc-ee's at home? No, I'm not coming. Goodbye.
No. Closest Buc-ee's 1,000 miles from my house.
That's probably how it needs to be.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. I heard nothing but great things about old Buckster. So this is cool. This again shows a bit of humanity with Dredd because I guess he could have shot these kids, but he didn't. Because they're trying to get the reward too, and they're trying to, hey, you shoot him. No, you shoot him. You shoot him. No, you do it. So they're all scared. They come out, freeze, and he turns around and he goes, "Why?" He's like, "What the fuck would I freeze for you two little pipsqueaks?" He goes, "Why?" "Because if you don't, we'll shoot you." "Oh yeah?" He's like, "Why don't you try it?" Stun. And he shoots him with basically tases both of them and they fucking flop around on the ground. Like, get the fuck out of here, kids. I could have shot your ass. But somebody does shoot at him. And she takes him out and he does like a roll and then hits the 2 kids with the stun that puts them down. Instead of fucking blowing them away like he probably could have.
But the suspect gets the drop on Anderson.
Yeah, he puts his feet through his cuffs, gets his hands in front of him. That's what does it. But you notice, because I looked at this, because if you know anything about Dredd, you know that their guns are synced up to their DNA. And if you're not supposed to have that gun in your hand, it's going to be a problem for you. Kind of like Blade's sword, right?
Right.
So I rewound it and I looked at it, and you see that her hand is on the gun. His hand is over her hand. And then his left hand is just like kind of by his other hand. So he's not actually touching her gun. She is, because he has her hand still on it. So that's why nothing happened to him. I was like, what the fuck? Did he have his hand on her gun? He should be getting fucked up right now. But he didn't. But he's gonna wish he's gonna wish that he didn't fuck with her. So he brings her back, and all the guys are like, yeah, you bitch, fucking cop. It's probably like fucking 50 people in the hallway just like screaming and shit. And he goes, well. One of the scariest parts of this movie, despite all the violence we've seen, is after he takes her hostage and they're in the elevator going up, and he goes, "You are so fucked," because she's been in his head making him piss himself. They fucking Dredd beat him up, bloodied his mouth, socked him up, probably broke a rib. Been fucking throwing him around the whole movie and shit. Plus he doesn't like cops, so he's like, the rabbit really has the gun now. And he's like, "You are so fucked." And so when they get up there, he's like, "What am I going to do with you?" And Mama goes, "You're going to do nothing." She's like, "These cops need to be fucking killed. It needs to look like, that it was a bad drug bust, not that you guys fucking gang, assaulted her and just mutilated her body, you idiots. This needs to look like a drug deal that they just got shot, you morons." And I think she actually says, "You're such a fucking idiot." And so he's like, she tells her, give him a couple to the body, one to the head, make it look like they were executing. And so he's like, "All right." And so he takes her into the other room. But before that, you cut to fucking camera eyes here. And Judge Dredd is tapped into the PA system. And she says, "Shut off the PA system." He says, "Well, no, if you let him talk, I can pinpoint where he is. We'll know exactly where he's at." She's like, "All right, let him talk." And she doesn't want to because he's saying, "Mama's a piece of shit. I'm the law." He goes, "Mama, I am the law. Fucking, I'm going to take control. And, fucking the judges run this shit, not these fucking drug dealers. She's a murderer. She's a piece of shit. I'm going to get him." So they find him, and she sends some goons over there, "Go get him." And so they go down there to go get him because the other 100 people they haven't killed, we're better than them, right? We're going to take him. And so they find him in like this phone booth kind of thing, and they just fucking light it up. But he hasn't fallen. He's like, he's still standing up. He hasn't fallen. And so they all surround it, and they're pointing guns at it. I was like, if you guys start shooting, you're going to shoot each other because they're all surrounding and pointing. Like, it's so dumb. But he opens it up, and it's one of their buddies, but he's like hung. His arms are tied to the ceiling, and he's like standing up, but he's dead, but the ropes are holding him up. And so once they're all there, they're like, "What the fuck?" And he's across the way, and he goes, "Incendiary." And he basically shoots a shower of white phosphorus all over these dudes. The white phosphorus, you can't put it out. Like if you take a road flare and throw it in the water, it'll just still burn underwater because it's like chemicals. And they just showers them in white phosphorus, sets them on fire, and they all burn to death. And she's watching it on the closed circuit cameras.
It's not great. It's a pretty bad way to go. Phosphorus, it's against the Geneva Convention in real life.
Yeah, but this is mega city, so let's bring it back.
Yeah.
And these dudes are all burning to death, screaming, falling over the ledge, laying there burning. Like it's pretty graphic scene, but they're pieces of shit, so they deserve it. And you see finally help's coming. 4 more judges are on their way. There's 2 judges there, but again, they're not letting them in because they're running the tests, and they won't listen to the judges and let them in. So these 4 judges show up. They walk up, the classic V shape, the leader in the middle, in the front, the other ones, kind of staggering behind him. Really cool classic shot, kind of shot from below. So they're like larger than life, and they're all walking here, and you hear their boots hitting and the sound of their leather and their utility belts and shit. And they walk up to the other 2 judges and like, "What are you doing here? How come you haven't gotten entries?" "Oh, they won't let us in. They're running tests." And he goes, "Open your door now." And the door opens, and he goes, "You're relieved." So he sends the other judges to get the fuck out of there. And then they come in. It turns out these 4 judges are working for Mama.
They're on the take.
They're on the take. They're crooked. They're pieces of shit. They're bad cops. And so Dredd finds one of them, and he's all, "Hey, we're here for the 1024. And he goes, "We called in 2 1024s. How come you didn't ask him about the other one?" And so the guy who knows that he got the drop on him, he knows he's a piece of shit. So he takes him, and he fucking hammer fist this dude's throat, crushes his larynx and his windpipe and whatever else you got in there. And then fucking those guys come in, and it's the classic. He falls to his knees first, and then a second later, boom, falls forward and dead. But they show him falling forward from a bird's eye view. So you just see him like right on his face, boom, dead.
Right. So and there's a evil female Judge Dredd, not Judge Dredd, but Judge, and she's like, "I'll go after the girl. She's not going to shoot at me because I'm a girl. If it's a guy, she'll shoot immediately, but a girl, it's going to throw her off." And then the other 2 judges are going after Judge Dredd. So they're going to corner him like in a locker room or whatever. He kills one shoots him right, like on the right side under the liver. And he's Judge Dredd's doing kind of bad. but the girl, our Blondie, the good girl, she kills the evil girl, Judge Dredd, and then she ends up saving Judge Dredd from the guy that was going to kill him in the locker room.
Yeah, but it was a classic through and through. So he has like this first aid kit where he like, I don't know, basically.
Oh, I skipped ahead, man. I skipped ahead like a whole scene. Sorry about that.
No, he like fixes himself, like cauterizes the wound, and then staples it. And yeah, she does another classic action movie trope. The bad guy has the drop on Dredd. Any last words, fucker? And then she boom boom shoots him, in the back, saves Dredd, and now he has.
Before all that, the suspect guy has her gun and he's going to execute her. I skipped ahead a whole scene. I skipped this part. And since it's her gun, it won't work for a stranger and it blows his hand off.
Yeah.
And then she's able to kick his ass and then get away. Then we get the part I was talking about where the two judges are hunting him down in the kitchen or the locker room or whatever this is. Sorry about that.
But when he has the gun and he's like holding it down, nothing happens. But once he raises it and aims it at her, then it's like, ID failed. Boom! Blows his hand off like up midway up his forearm. It's a wrap. He falls to the ground, blood's gushing out, and he's like, ugh, and she stands up with her hands still behind her back and delivers like a fucking roundhouse kick to his jaw. Like it's some smooth shit because her hands are behind her back. So she stands up and like executes it hella quick, like boom, perfect. Fucking like, basically he bleeds out and dies. So it was pretty cool. Like that was a cool
him. Yeah. So sorry I jumped ahead. I jumped ahead to this part where the evil judges are coming after Judge Dredd. They're talking shit to each other, hiding behind walls and machines, and then the female evil judge faces up with the good female. She ends up killing her, and then he gets shot. That's our good guy in the foreground. He gets shot through the wall. The guy goes like armor piercing, because when they give a command to the gun, it switches the ammo. Phosphorus, armor piercing, hot shot, all the different kinds of stun gun. Like they could change it by voice command. And he shoots him right through the wall, through the back, out the front of the stomach on the right side.
Yeah.
So he comes down and he's going to execute him right there. And Judge Dredd's all, wait. And the guy's like, wait, like Judge Dredd, the biggest Billy badass of all time. You're going to die. And that's what you have to say now. Wait. Like, what do you think? I'm an idiot. I'm going to wait until I'm going to change my mind and blah, blah, blah. He's like talking. And then he just gets wasted by the girl from behind.
He's all, no, wait for her to shoot you.
Right.
And then they get up and he's like, so what do we do? And she's like, let's finish it. Let's go up there. And then through it like 3 times. This is the 3rd time he's asked her, "Oh, you ready?" And both times she's like, "Yeah, yes, sir, I'm ready." He goes, "You don't look ready." And then this time he goes, what is it? You failed. She's like, "I fucking failed when I lost my primary weapon." Now she has an MP5. She's like, "I don't give a fuck. Let's get this shit over with. All right. I know I'm not going to be a judge. So let's go." And he goes, "Are you ready?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm ready." He goes, "You look ready." So that's kind of her arc, that she started off and she was still doing it. She was still carrying out the orders or, carrying out the plan. But she was very timid and kind of scared. And now she's kind of battle hardened. She's been battle tested. They've been going at this for like fucking 10, 12 hours. So, she's learning really quick. And now she's like, fuck it, let's go. And so what they're going to do is go take it to Mama to the top floor and kill that bitch. So this right here is where she lets this guy go because she uses her psychic powers and sees that.
They want his password so they can break into all the security and computer and all the systems because he's the computer wizard. Yeah. So he won't give him the password and Judge Dredd's going to kill him. And she's like, hold on. She reads his mind to get the password. But when she reads his mind, she finds out he's unwilling. He's not a bad guy. They've tortured him. They've hurt him. They've cut him to pieces. They ripped his eyeballs out and they force him to do this. So she tells the judge to spare his life.
Yeah. And he goes, what? He tried to kill a judge. It's punishable by death. And she goes, no, she's like, I'm in charge. I say, let him go. There's no need to kill him. And he goes, that's an automatic fail. She's like, fuck it. I failed when I lost my primary weapon, remember?
Right.
So let's get this shit over. And what she got from
he just runs off into the night, the guy.
Yeah, they wanted the code to get into Mama's lair because it said it was behind a bunch of steel and concrete and you'll never get in, so I needed the code. So that's when she read his mind and got the code. And then she has this thing, which is another cool idea. This thing she puts on her wrist and it like kind of injects into her, like attaches itself, like it puts like prongs into her skin and it syncs up to her heartbeat. She tells him it's like this blue flashing light. She goes, this is synced up to my heartbeat, so if you kill me, there's enough explosives on here to blow up, the top 50 floors and bring it down and kill a bunch of people. There's 75,000 people in this building, so you're talking tens of thousands of people that are going to die. So she's like, fuck it, what are you going to do? You can't kill me. And he's like, man, I don't know about that. Boom, like shoots her in the fucking stomach, basically like where he got hit.
Right.
Shoots her like fucking in her liver, and she lands on the bed. She's like, oh, you fucker. And he's like, I don't know. We're 100 stories, it's 100 feet or 100, or a kilometer above ground, 100 layers of concrete. He's like,
real quick. Right before he shoots her, though, there's some bad guys in the room. They have a quick shootout. He kills the bad guys, but the bad guys do clip Anderson in the stomach. She gets it too on the left side, though. So not in the liver, because the liver, that'd be dead. And so she's down on the ground, but not dead, just bleeding. Mm-hmm. So go ahead. Sorry. So yeah, then he blasts the bad guy in her side. Everyone's getting shot in the gut.
And he's like, how good do you think the reception is on one of those things? Let's find out. And he goes, Mama, for the crimes of multiple homicides and drug distribution, I sentence you to death. How do you plea? And then he gives her a hit of the slow-mo, and she looks at him, and you see the slow-mo, the smoke coming out of her mouth, and then she just sucks it in, like, fucking let's go. He's like, defense noted. And then grabs her and just, boom, throws her through this fucking window. And she's falling into her. And right when she goes to the glass, boom, it kicks into slow motion. And that sound like that. And she's just super slow-mo. You can see every single particle of glass that's sparkling. She's like blowing the smoke out. And like her body's twisting where she ends up facing the ground where she's falling. The fires on the lower floors made like smoke, but it looks like clouds because it's in slow motion. Like she falls through the cloud of smoke. Looks super cool. Yeah. I mean, the visuals are awesome. And then it shows it from the ground, like this shot, and you see her face hit the ground.
Mush.
And then just turns to bloody mush.
Right.
And you see it turn red. And when he throws her out, he just starts to turn around. So you see him slowly turning around like, fuck her. Boom. Shit was cool. Great shot.
So that's the end of Mama and her gang. And she was so far down that when her heart stopped to set off the bomb to blow up the top half of the building, the signal couldn't reach from that far down. So he guessed right. So that was a brave move by him.
Yeah. Good old Dredd.
So then he fixes up Judge Anderson. She fixed him earlier when he got shot in the kitchen. She patched him up with this staple thing that cauterized the wound. So he patches her up a little bit. They walk out into the sunlight of Mega City 1, and the chief shows up, the black lady right there in the foreground. She's like, how'd it go? What happened? He's all, oh, it was just a drug bust or whatever. He like downplays it completely.
Yeah, drug bust.
Yeah. And then she asks him, so how did Judge Anderson do? Did she pass or not? And Judge Anderson, she thinks she failed because she lost her gun. And if you lose your gun, it's automatic fail. So she handed him her badge and she's like, yeah, she failed, whatever. And he turns to the big boss. He says, no, she passed. So it's kind of like a cool, fun, happy ending like that. Love this movie. I can't believe I've only seen it twice. I will put it up there with, like, if you love John Wick, if you love The Raid, if you love like hardcore badass action movies before woke got its legs, you'll love this. It's from 2012, so it's not woke. You're like, oh, it's got a female lead. Like, no. She's a woman through and through. She's little.
It's played well.
She's little and she's a weakling. They admit that she's a woman, but her power is psychic, which is okay. That's superhero shit from comic books. Great movie, insane action, and the movie looks great too. The color, the background, the rocky walls, the people that are all it's got that whole Mad Max, the dystopia kind of thing going on. So I recommend it. If you love action, you'll love Dredd. Do not, and we love Sylvester Stallone, but don't watch his Judge Dredd instead of this one. You can watch it in addition to if you want to laugh.
Yeah.
But it's not great, the Sylvester Stallone one. I am the law.
And Rob Schneider. It's totally has the comedic relief, way different vibe than this one, which is the better one. I mean, if you talk about polar opposites, man.
You know what? It would be worth watching both just to see how you should do something and how you shouldn't do something.
Yeah. Everything is an example of something. And
but Judge Dredd, get some of your favorite snacks, get your buddies that love hardcore action, and you'll have a good night watching this. You'll love this one. Not for kids, I think. Pretty bloody and violent. There's no sex in it. There's mention of some sexual things. There's no nudity, so it's safe that way. but there are splattering guts and brains. So
Yeah.
it's not for kids in that regard.
Very violent, pretty
A lot of
gory.
cussing. But for
very-
grown men that love a rock'em sock'em, you can't go wrong with Dredd. Good one. You'll love this.
Great movie. Love to see a remake
Yeah.
or
A sequel. Why not?
yeah, but please have the same people involved with the same
Yeah.
mindset, looking through
Same writer, director, actors. Yeah, I'd love to see more of these.
Yeah, because
Maybe-
Carl Urban, he's not old or anything. He could still play Dredd.
Yeah, he's only like in his 40s. He was probably, late 20s, early 30s here, right? So he's, something like he's under 50, I think. He still could do it.
He
He's
might
in
be
tons of
50.
movies.
Let's see.
He's in a zillion movies, Carl Urban. He's Spock.
Oh,
He was like Boromir in Lord of the Rings.
he's 53.
Right?
He's
53. He
young.
could still do it. He could still do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Because he's not doing jump kicks or anything like that. It's all gunplay mostly. A little bit of punching, so.
Guess he was 40 when he did this one. So yeah.
Yeah.
Call
So-
Lib and yeah, he'd be great.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
So-
Only
Yep.
if same fingerprints would be on it.
Yeah.
You know,
Same people involved. Same creative team.
Not
No
no
woke stuff.
bullshit.
It'd be fun too. If this was a TV show, same writer, director, actors, and all that, and they did the Twilight Zone, Star Trek, Gunsmoke, those shows that did the Monster of the Week kind of thing, where they have just a different scenario. Imagine all the scenarios they could get into in Mega City 1, all the different criminals
Oh,
and mutants,
Yeah.
and underworld, and corrupt politicians. That'd be a great TV show, like a 1-hour show. That'd be awesome with this same creative team. That
Yeah.
would be awesome. So, he corrects me. He was not Spock. You're 1,000% right. He was Dr. McCoy. That's right. Damn it, Jim. I got it wrong. So, yeah. Love this. I love to see a sequel or an awesome TV show of this. So, check it out. If you haven't seen it, you'll love it. So,
That's a great movie.
for next
love it.
week, we've got a doozy next week. One of my favorite movies. Love this movie. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. By the great Mel Gibson. By the power invested in me from the state of California, I command you to watch Apocalypto.
Power invested in me.
I love that concept. The power invested in me. The power vested in me. Sorry. Invested. What the hell? Apocalypto. Mel Gibson. Just outrageously good movie. To me, it's an all-time classic. It is such a good movie. The final shot of this movie goes hard as fuck. The final shot of this movie is one of the most hardcore things I've ever seen in the historical context of who we are and what everything is in the Western world. Oh my gosh, what an ending to this movie. Do not spoil it if you haven't seen it. Check this movie out, Apocalypto. Ultra violent and gory, not for the kids, but you'll love Apocalypto. It's so good.
Yeah, one of those movies that takes place thousands of years ago, so it's super brutal and primitive and oof.
Yeah.
People get fucked up in that movie.
Yeah, not a great time for a lot of life. Was cheap back then. It was not great.
Oh man,
So,
it was that shit was on. Just buy one get one free, fucking
yeah.
cheap.
Antonio says, "Thanks, Gabe, Jerko, and chat. Going camping tomorrow. Have a great way. Hey, have a great time camping. That's awesome.
Have fun there, jerky.
Awesome. Okay, guys. I got Empyrean debuting in the crowdfund, but look, it's already done. It exists.
Yeah.
Jericho has a copy at his house that he's
I got
reading. How cool is this stuff? Look at this sci-fi wingsuit. You gotta get this. The crowdfund debuts my birthday, July 24th, at the San Diego Comic-Con, the biggest comic convention in the world. We've got the Unstoppable Tyrus coming after that. Big Man Comics is just rolling along. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a huge party on Saturday the 26th at my buddy's awesome restaurant with some of your favorite YouTubers like Nerdrotic and the guys from Film Threat. It's gonna be a great time. Jericho has still not told me if he's coming to Comic-Con or not, but he has plenty of time. He's got a few weeks left to tell me. He might be there. I don't know. Who knows?
You never know, guys.
He'll have to eventually tell me. Anyway, guys, follow me on X. I am Big Man Comics over there. On YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, I'm Gabe out there. Make sure you're liked on this and subscribed and all that good stuff. This video out right now. Take your finger out of your nose, hit the share button, and then I started a TikTok, Jericho. Can you believe it? I'm like the kids.
Oh boy.
I'm
Oh, boy.
ticking and I'm talking.
Hey,
I
the
got a
hip
TikTok.
hops.
Big Man Comics on TikTok, and go to bigmancomics.com and get on the mailing list so you know what in the heck is going on with all the great graphic novels I'm making for you, and you'll find out stuff ahead of time so you can be the first to know, because I am doing limited edition comics where I'm only going to print a few of certain types, and if you want to know about that stuff early, Get on the mailing list because that's where you're going to find out about those things. Jericho, my beautiful, wonderful friend, is there anything you need to promote? Or are we out of here?
No, I've been putting up some bangers, with everything going on with the ceasefire and blah, blah, blah. Some really good shit going on.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, dude, that was crazy. So I did a really good one about that. So make sure you check it out.
Oh, Trump is a gem. Love Trump.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know this about Trump. Not to overreact when he does something wild. I'll save my tweets. I won't say anything. I'll let the smoke clear for 24, 48 hours. Because he goes right sometimes, he goes left, he zigs, he zags, and people are freaking out, and I'm unfollowing you, and you hate America. It's like, guys, hold on. Let him cook. This is what Trump does.
Dude, he was pissed, man. That shit was genuine. One of the things I said real quick was, some of the Democrats are cursing, Gavin Newsom, damn it, hell, and shit, booty gauge, and all these people dropping F-bombs because they think that's how the beer drinkers, the average man, that's how they think we respond to coarse language. But Trump, when he did it, that was natural. That was organic. I'm pissed. I just sit here and told the world something, and then you jackasses go behind my back and undo it. What's wrong with you? He was mad. He's like, you have to, but he had a good point. Before that, he said, these are two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's like they don't know how not to.
That is so true, though. He is such a, his IQ must be off the charts because the way he can look at the mess and make sense of it. You know what I mean? You put data in front of Trump, he's like, that's the part that matters. He's like a master of that, and his messaging is so clear. He takes such complex problems, concepts, issues, and he just turns them into sound bites. And it's like so easy for someone with like a fifth grade education to understand what he's saying. He's brilliant in his way to sum things up, just truly brilliant. So I love the guy. I support him. Has he done everything I want him to do? Of course not. Nobody can. But
is this what you voted for? Is this what you fucking voted for?
Right.
Yeah, bitch. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Exactly
I voted for world peace and mean tweets.
Yes. I voted for him grabbing people who shouldn't be here and throwing them the fuck out.
I'll say this about Trump's foreign policy. You tell me what you think. I truly, truly believe Trump does not want any Americans to ever get hurt and die. He doesn't want the Israelis to get hurt and die, but he also doesn't want the Iranians to get hurt and die. He doesn't want anyone. He hates war.
It's bad for business.
He hates it for everyone on this earth. He doesn't want anyone to get killed.
Yeah.
But you attack this country and hurt us, he will annihilate them.
It's a wrap.
Both of those things are true. He doesn't want to do it, but he absolutely will. And I think the Iranian people and those people, they believe that. Like he's not fucking around. Like if we leave them alone, he will leave us alone.
Yeah.
And if we
war is bad for business.
Americans, he will end their civilization if he needs to.
Yeah, we can't do business if everybody's dead.
Right.
So let's come to the table. Let's agree. Let's get prosperous. But if you touch a hair on an American's head, dude, you're out of here.
Curtains.
Period.
Curtains.
Period.
So
that's it. You'll be hit with a fury of which you've never seen.
So
promise.
Yeah. But I see people abandoning ship on Trump and they hate him now, and I regret this. And I think a lot of that is astroturf and fake. But it's like, guys, he's been doing this for 10 years where he does something. Everyone says it's World War III, the end of everything. And then it's fine. Dude.
Totally fine. It's better than it was before.
Right. Yeah, we are better off today than we were a week ago. We are.
Yeah. He's going to get Netanyahu and the Ayatollah to make out.
He's gonna put him in that T-shirt that they both wear, the get along shirt.
Yeah. Make them fucking make out. Dude, I saw a video of in Africa. These 4 dudes got caught stealing a car. So they paired them up into twos and made them make out with each other, but they weren't gay. And they were like hitting them with sticks and shit if they stopped kissing each other. Dude, it was the funny shit ever. It's like those dudes will never steal another car. You got to fucking tongue your homeboy down.
He's going to put the Iranian leader and the Israeli leader in this shirt.
And don't fucking cry.
And until you stop fighting, you're wearing this shirt together.
You fight one more time, I'll make you kiss.
I will turn this car around.
Gross. He just takes his belt off and starts spanking their ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know at this point, the liberals that hate him and the Republicans that don't like him anymore. I don't know how you don't understand Trump at this point. Scott Adams put it so brilliantly. Don't take Trump literally, take him seriously. You know what I mean? Don't literally. Yeah. It's hyperbole. It's persuasion. What is the point of what he's saying? Like, you got to put it that way. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. It's like, well, they didn't send us any money, but
But
They put thousands of their own troops to guard the border and blah, blah. That's a form of paying. Like, take him seriously, not literally.
yeah, they're not going to show up with a publisher's clearinghouse check.
Right. They're going to just
Here
like,
you go, America.
34 trillion pesos for you.
Yeah, the fuck, man.
Yeah, that's
Come
not how.
on.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, even Candace Owens is turning on him.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's weird. She's got her own issues.
I got to
She's
check
very-
that out. But yeah,
Very fixated on certain things. So
yeah, I got to check that out.
yeah. So I used to like her. I don't hate her now. Like I give
No.
people a lot of grace because and maybe this is naive of me, but I see so much like nonsense. I like think they're evil. I just think they're stupid, maybe just misguided. Maybe not evil, just really confused or something. It is confusing times. That's why I don't like tweet. I tweet like my art mostly. I just tweet my comics mostly and like, I don't know, man, this is kooky, but it's going in a good direction. So, but I love Trump. I think he's awesome. Oh,
Yeah,
and I didn't
same
reveal
here.
this. Summertime. I gave myself a fade yesterday. Not bad, huh?
No,
Cut
not
my
at
own
all.
hair. There you go. Saved myself $20. So,
Take that.
this is summer Gabe. So cut my hair short.
This game's different. He's not responsible for his actions until fall.
Right. Yeah. Tell my wife that.
Hey, she
Whoa,
knows you.
whoa. That was summer Gabe. You cannot do
look-
that.
Hey, look at the calendar, thuds.
Yeah.
That's why they call it the dog days of summer.
That's right. It's just that dog in me.
Oh,
Hold on. Before we go, then you can't bring that up without this.
when your kids hear you howl, they
Okay.
just roll their eyes.
Hold on. Here we go. All right. He's here. My attorney, the one and only St. Bernard Sanders. How you doing, man?
Hello, everybody. Great to be here.
Now, this is a hypothetical. I haven't done anything, but with my new summer haircut of a nice summer fade, if I did something that my wife really didn't like, would you be able to get me out of it on the technicality that it's summer Gabe and not regular Gabe? Could you do
Of
this?
course, I've done a lot of cases like this. It's called seasonal personality. And your wife, how long have you been married? Over 25 years.
Yeah.
She knows, and it's not your fault. It's summertime, and the bitches are out there.
All right. And by bitches, you mean just females, right? I mean, like.
Yeah, of course. Bernie, St. Bernard Sanders loves all of the ladies and the bitches.
That's right. And guys, his people, it's okay to call them bitches. That's the actual name.
Yeah. Ladies won't let you sniff their ass. Bitches, they love it.
They request it. They
It's a-
demand it.
It's our handshake.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a little more than a handshake, but yeah, you're
Yeah,
not
we
wrong.
don't have hands, so we stick our nose up each other's ass.
Right. I feel like you really get to know someone when you do that.
Well, try it. If you don't believe me, shake their hand and then smell their ass.
I feel like there's nobody on earth I want to know that much.
Well, in the land of dogs, we have dog years. We get older faster, so we can't waste time
Right,
with handshakes.
right.
We got to get our nose in
You
their
gotta
ass.
get in there. You gotta go deep and do the work. I get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
I go all the way in. I have like fecal matter all the way by my ears.
Ooh.
I go all the way in their ass.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a lot more than we wanted to know, but thank you for sharing.
Well, I'm an open book.
Okay, well, it is summer Gabe. So if I do need to call on you, what is that number again?
It's 1-800-BIG BARK. All right? 1-800-BIGBARK.
Okay.
And remember, summer rates are cheap. I'll give you 2 for 1 as long as you let me smell your ass.
There you go, guys. St. Bernard Sanders, former senator from Vermont, now practicing attorney in Southern California.
Like I say, Gabe, if it's summertime, it's not a crime.
He's irreplaceable. He really is a national treasure. The great St. Bernard Sanders. All right, guys, join us next Tuesday night for Apocalypse. It's a great movie. It is brutal. You
Haven't
need
seen
to
it in
watch it.
years.
It's so good. It's so good. All right. Anything else? Are we done? We done clowning?
Fuck out of here.
All right. Adios, amigos.